reach nowhere, so you have to find a way. Them no want you reach nowhere, so you have to find a way. Them no want to see you rich, them will love to see you in a ditch. Them no want to see you on tour, them no want you get more, so get more. Show them you not afraid them, one load them. Every human have a something that them destined. That is your destiny, so be what you ought to be. Even if no want you reach nowhere, so you have to find a way. Them no want you reach nowhere, so you have to find a way. Them no want to see you fly, them no want to see you touch sky, them no want to see you fly. Hey. Bling bling, now me call it King Kong. Every song I write, hit song. Every song I write, hit song. Tell me something, am I wrong? To believe in myself, put nobody above myself. Energy, build your energy. Love, charity, what a sight to see. What a colossal. Working to prosper. What you gonna stop for? Keep on, it's right on the corner. Hey, make way when I'm weird there. Hey, tell the ears that them stay there. Hey, that is your destiny, to be what you ought to be. Even if no one you reach nowhere, so you have to find a way. Them no one you reach nowhere, so you have to find a way. Them no want to see you fly, them no want to see you touch sky, them no want to see you fly. Hey. Them no want to see you fly, them no want to see you touch sky, them no want to see you fly.
And the global greetings. Welcome to another edition of Detopiks here on Real Entertainment Network. Want to say good evening to Oli and Layamiga. That's the indigenous names for the islands known as Nevis and St. Christopher or St. Kitts. Want to say good evening to the rest of our brothers and sisters throughout the entire Eastern Caribbean. And morning, afternoon, or night, depending on where you may be geographically, one of those greetings may be applicable. Yes, it's another Tuesday evening, and we're here with, another Friday evening, but I'm really living happy. Maybe it's because it's the topics again, you know? So, yeah, it's another Friday evening, and we have an exclusive edition of the topics this evening, as we will have as our special guest this evening, Dr. Alexander Garfield, and we will also have Ras Sankofa Maccabee, who will be with us shortly. Also, my usual co-host, Shabazz Bankie King, and all of our regular listeners, those who usually tune in, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch TV. Want to say a very special good evening to you guys, girls, wherever you may be. Also want to encourage folks who log in this evening to ensure that you go on over to our YouTube platform. It doesn't cost you anything. Just subscribe, click on the notification bell, so that you're informed every time we have a program here on Real Entertainment Network. So that's all I'm asking, and I guess at some point during the show again, I'll probably give you that prompt to go on over and subscribe to our YouTube platform. Shabazz Bankie King, global greetings.
Greetings, Yahsonn, and greetings to our guests. Doc, going on with you, my brother. Also, greetings to the listening audience, wherever you're at. Greatly appreciate you guys tuning in to another edition of the topics. You can be listening to any other media host, but you choose to listen to real entertainment. Shows that you have that interest and that whatever topic we're discussing, you have some concerns with the environment or whatever is going on in the community. We greatly appreciate you guys tuning in and sharing the link and stuff like that. Also, remember, the topic is sponsored by Mansa's Last Stop and Shabazaga Next at Cadesby Nevis. We will continue to strive and keep my uncle legacy Mansa alive. It was a great contributor to the agricultural sector, and hopefully one of these days names can be written, roads can be named within the community off of great farmers, fisher folks, agro-processors within the community, and just all who contributed. It's about time we start to name the streets and stuff off the people who contributed within the community, because we all make a contribution. Just want to say, looking forward for the reason tonight, Yahsonn, with Dr. Garfield Alexander and Sankofa. For those who just running into us for the first time, the topics, all our shows here in Real Entertainment are educational shows where we touch different diverse topics that affect the community. And that's what it's all about. We don't butt up things here. We keep it straight as direct. And that's all it is. We don't hold no parties when it comes to politics or anything like that. And we just keep it professional and make it fun at the same time. And that's what it's all about. But at the same time, you live here with something educational. But this evening, we'll continue the part 2 of the incident that happened with myself, and then leading to a next incarceration of a elder gentleman where we meet up at the same place. So if you're just tuning in, I mean, I personally don't have no Facebook and Instagram and all those stuff. So when something happened, I wouldn't know going on Facebook. I don't, unless I take up someone's phone and they show me something then. But right now, what's going on is very entertaining to me. So what happened, if you're just listening, I'm a crop technician. I've worked for the government. Just a brief overview of myself. For over 13 years. I retired from the government for 3 years ago. So I work for myself. All I do is consultation. But I'm a full-time farmer. Continuing my uncle legacy alive. I've worked and traveled and trained by the government and sent all over the world when it comes to cannabis, crop, greenhouse, hydroponic system, and I've done most of the fruits and vegetables, tape them and record them with health promotion, where they can show them over and over. Where Oceana O'Loughlin, she would speak from health promotion, she'll speak on the health benefits, and I as a farmer, the technician will speak and how the crop will grow and the type of soil which is best suited for it. And then Chef Henville would make a chef out of these dishes. So it was a complex and well organized, something like Martha Stewart home cook and live, and there was something good. So a lot of that information is there, and done work with most of the farmers on the island, all the schools, and wherever you're, and within Sync it same way, and that's basically it. And but my main objective is just to plant food and more food, and plant herb and more herb, and that's it. Simple, and just continue living. That's all it is. So just want to encourage those who've been continue planting, keep up the good works, and just never stop. But last Friday on my farm there was an incident where police entered the property of my farm at Cadesby and said they're serving a warrant and something to look for some control drugs and guns and ammunition, but them things there. So that was it, and my rights was violated, was taken to the police station, and then afterwards the next gentleman came there after 5, didn't know they had Jama there, but while being there, taken to the police station after the liberation, and there was an incident when I entered the police station where they get a phone call when we pull it in the yard, and they just basically stopped the truck, jump out, left me there, come out. One of them come out, start take off some of the tree, but then I started assisting them, taking off the others went inside and place them, put them down and stuff like that. And then the going out left me there. Me and Randy Elliott, Director of Agriculture, he was at the farm, so he followed them go to the station. So while they're gone, me and Randy the laugh, say, you can't make up these things, see me get locked up, and me take out my one herb tree, going through all this crap we're not supposed to go through. And while them depend on in a physics and are going to the police station, we're locking up myself. We're going there, enter, I met a young police inside behind the glass. He tell me just steady and we steady. Well, they gone and come back wherever, and next one come there. Well, I don't know his name now. Name Wilkin. Yeah, Wilkin, a big head one. Name Wilkin. While they at the glass sitting converse with the gentleman, the police, because he wanted, well, you ask what the guy doing there for? This doesn't make no sense. This have to be a joke. You understand? Well, Mr. Wilkins start going on like a dirt bike. Get up. I just watching this man. This man is a madman. Coming on, we talking. Coming in, talking to me. Me just a watch. He pull in the face. Can I just start shouting? Mister, all right. Just get up. Go behind there. Me don't know behind there. Cause me there by the glass. So me don't know behind there. So you go behind there. At the cell behind there. Get in there. All right. So listen, he making noise, cause me don't know Mr. Wilkins. Know me. I don't know him. He just come after everything done comes, but he. At the same time, this next one, Robertson, laughing and whatever. I'm watching Robertson, man, if he glad Wilkin going on like that, but he don't I don't put him in the place at the farm, because he had the same attitude like a Wilkin at the farm, but he slowed down, because he realized who me be. So the Wilkin in like a duck bike, me go in, lock up, turn off the light. It's all right, Mr. Virgin. Like turning off the light and shouting loud now mean nothing to me. My birthday is next month. I gonna be 49. So this really that serious. So I will be all right. Robert says, yo, turn back on the light. So by turning off the light, I said this. I just wanted to lead up to the point. They had Jama in himself from 11 o'clock in the morning, 65-year-old man, till after 5 when they bring him there at Cotton Ground. Turn off the light, left him in a dark room. Turn off the light with full of mosquito webs inside. They say, can't see. You see? These are how these rogue officers, Shane James, all who had anything to do with my infringement of rights and Jama. I just want the Attorney General and the Navy's authority and the whole federal government know I'm asking for the removal of all these rogue police officers. So me call them out. Because the whole world see them in the video. One of them, Olivier, the one with the search warrant, Shame James, can I ask them to understand the Sankofa case and the finish them right? They say, yeah, but if they had no, they'll walk backwards. So obviously they don't know. Robertson, yeah, the next one in the video, remember his name. I think, whatever, but his name in the video though. And Mr. Wilkin and Mr. Carty, because I hear him on the phone attack all the time. Because this is about 2 years ago. People in the feelings. And everyone else who is involved in this, the Attorney General, the DPP, whoever is, I'm just calling out you guys, the DPP and the Attorney General, and the Prime Minister, whoever involved in infringing and abusing a 60-year-old elderly citizen, Jama, and also infringing on my right, because I was never offered a glass of water. They locked me up till after 9 the night. I was never offered a phone call. Jama was never offered a phone call. I realized Jama just there by himself. So when I asked Jama, we're going on here, bail, you're bail, how you gonna get out? He said, boy, nobody in me lock up, I said, what the fetch? Anyway, this is how me cause fetch. So I work with me. Me say, well, sir. Me say, Shane, we're going on here. What do you mean the man get phone call? Nobody the man lock up, I saw Shane started to say, boy, I say about that. I just watching this guy saying, you say about what? Say about what, Virgin? These guys are abusing the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis and getting away with it. Knocking out phone out of people when people tell them they were carding them and getting away with it. So let me say this right now, because this is how we're going forward, for all who listening to the sound of my voice. Because I don't tolerate these things. You check? Right now, we're boycotting the cannabis cup. Not going away. Me personally now go agriculture open there, me boycott that. Anybody want anything to buy, go over New River and support Jama, please. Please to support Jama next week, Thursday and Friday, for instead of the agriculture open day. All right? Also, music festival, me now go to that. Me not care how much steel pulse they bring. Me got steel pulse, right? See we play steel pulse. I want to hear steel pulse, we go play steel pulse. All right? See we don't play, please. All right. Okay? Boycotting music festival, because this cannabis that me been grow for the same cannabis cup is for the music festival to entertain those people who coming in. And if anybody keep getting locked up and for the rest of this year, we boycott carnival too, So they need to, so all who take part in this, the Prime Minister, the Premier of Nevis, me just call out name, me just say, this case need to be settled. With Jama, where we need to, I got to figure it out, because me not pull back. We go to the full brunt of the court. Me lawyers them don't know that. So where I don't got my picture all over the wall. If bad enough, I used to use my picture all on the budget, all on the map, up and down the place, wherever and wherever, me not complain. But this is the last straw. Once we infringe on my rights, I got to show me youth and them how to stand up how to stand firm. And a pure girl pick me have. So, and then I got know how to turn weak. So they got to see how to stand and how to lead. So anyone who have anything to do with me and Jama case, they need to exit the police force. And these police need to be vetted more. And also need to understand how to the community work. And remember, they are our servant and not to abuse the citizens. So I call them out again, Oliver, whatever name. Yeah? Shane James. Shane disappoint me big time because we go school together. Do you see them? I know them from Norway. Robertson, wherever he be, I don't know he from Norway. Carty, I don't know he from Norway neither. You understand? I'm supposed to know Shane. And the next one, Wilkin. I don't know these guys from Norway. Them don't know me, and I don't know them. I know Shane, and Shane, whatever it is, but if I saw you going to treat an elder man, because just how they try to do me, to intimidate me, because they don't know me now, hush. Yeah, from the start, you think me now go hush. Because my head, me don't lock up. So me stand on my grounds, and me have a right to speak. So you can't tell me hush. So, in a matter of the wall, in the dark, I got shit all on the wall in the ceiling up on the ground. In a bother me not go break. Me no business about that. Me keep my sanity. Me stand on my ground. Because remember, you disrespect me, So that is enough energy for me to stand firm. The disrespect you do to me, and then you tell me take off my hat. Virgin, you can't take, when I travel from me, I go to Africa, I go to Indonesia, me not take off my crown. You see much to show you. So how you want me to take off my crown? That show you the disrespect. So me just saying these things so the public understand these things, So when these guys see me on the road, they need to just drop out like a bridge. Don't even stop my vehicle. Because right there, I harass me. Okay, otherwise it's restraining out of me put on you. So who need to resign now? They need to resign. Because I'm just a start, So right now, it's no ganja, it's no vote. So we move it. And also, just put it out, just to big up the DJ Maui show about helping me getting a day to start a march, because this march is going to be in the justice of Jamal, myself, and all those whoever had their rights been infringed of. We're going to have a march the 10th of April from by the Hamilton Museum, go straight up by the bus stop going to Castle, and we're going to make sure no one else go through this. No one get harassed for her, period. No one else rights get infringed on ever again. And we don't hire no rogue police. We're going to vet our police them properly, but within the community that they serve in this police station, and ask them what to do, and you get rid of them. No, we're not accept these things here. We're not accepting these things here. So this is how we're going forward. Also, let me big up the youth man at the medical cannabis authority, Nadif Mills. Young youth mean well. Youth man, hold it down, come over, and stand by my side. Make sure we don't make the rights that I have to the Babylon and them. Then I want to hear it. You see me? Then I want to hear it. Ash, come into a little bit. Give me a chance. Just avoid upon certain things. Phone is all right? So I just wanted to big up the youth, Nadif Mills, and people get the youth a chance as a young youth, and Mr. the youth have the right potential. If you start to swift sideways, yeah, me call him out straight up, because I don't know me not hold it back. So once he keep being true to himself and put on the pressure, because I want to start to change happening, because it got to happen, because the universe don't make mistake. You see? So me appreciate the lock up, and I want to thank Carty and Oliver at the same time, and Wilkin and Shane James, and I was involved in having violated my farm and my rights. I would appreciate that what they did, for thanking them, so we can get change forward, because that's how things happen. You got to have a sacrifice. So I don't mind. So I want to appreciate them. Just I want to thank those in agriculture for not doing the right thing towards that Indian castle, so I could have left, because the university wants to not deal with me to leave. So thank Zook and Eric Evelyn and all those who were involved in not, appreciating my expertise and stuff. I said I could leave the department to show that when I left, everything just gone to that $1 million project. You see, no accountability. I operate as a professional person. Doc, how you doing, Virgin? Welcome to the topics.
No complaint.
Mike is yours.
Yeah, Bankie, I've listened to you tonight, and I've known you for quite a while. I don't know you as long as maybe Yahsonn and in the Vision Public. But let me say this. I'm glad it happened to you, and I still ain't happy it happened to you. And I'm gonna explain both. I'm not happy it happened to you because you're one of the most genuine men I know, the most holistic farmers. Because when I became the CEO of Medical Cannabis, I had to understand cannabis as ganja. I had to understand cannabis as weed. I had to understand it as a Caribbean commodity, as a plant from all the perspectives of all the persons, even from some of the non-smokers and some of the haters. And I've been across the Caribbean, and I've had to appreciate it as a cultivar and any other cultivation that we have now as a resource for man that we think can give us economic or financial means. And one of the issues, if you research across the Caribbean, is the issue of post-production. And you're somebody that I think grasped that in its entirety. So why would somebody that's a farmer, a researcher, a holistic man, a community man, a married man, would need to be harassed by the police all of a sudden? If all his life he's never been having these issues. And I could only think back to two things that I know I've known you to do, to have known you done in the past few months or weeks. And that's where you reiterated what the consult from Jamaica said when he said that the police in Nevis. He reiterated what the commissioner said and said the police in Nevis have nothing to do. That's something you reiterated. And I don't think you reiterated to embarrass the police, to get at them, but just to hallmark a truth that's obvious to all of us. Because if you're in Nevis within the past few months, you'd realize there's been a general crackdown on farmers and cultivars of cannabis, irrespective of all the issues that's going on in Nevis, even more so than St. Kitts. So when the consult had a meeting with the High Command, this was one of the issues that he saw and felt while he was spending time here in Nevis. And that was the answer he got. And that answer speaks to not just to Division Police, but to policing on a whole in St. Kitts and the policing of a plant. Because marijuana and cannabis possession has been used as the easiest excuse. Your neighbor, somebody wanted to suggest that you were growing it, suggest that they smell it, somebody wanted to smell it on you, and you could end up in custody, you could end up institutionalized, you could end up guilty before ever even proven guilty, with nobody needing proof to prove you guilty. From you being detached from not only your family and friends, but your whole community, and stigmatized for the rest of your life. Yet in 2026, we have an upful man, picture, mugshot being plastered across the internet, with the backdrop of all what's going on here in St. Kitts. That was unbelievable to me. So when you called me personally and said, Doc, I'm the police on my farm, and I think I'm going to be arrested, I thought it was a joke. But I can get to the core of what I'm saying, Bankie. Bankie, you're somebody I've always looked up to. And I've always told you, Bankie, as Rasta Picnic, because we ain't have to go lots, but once we come up under the institution of what is Rasta, children of the 70s and 80s, because you're about to make 49. I've already made 49 in thing. Rasta tell us to leave the Babylon system alone. All we could be is the example. Because they've taught us that Rasta is a head cornerstone, which means you'll be rejected. And in that isolation and in that marginalization, you will become complete. So even now when I'm watching CNN and I see in Iran, and that's a place like I've only researched and as an adult now, after hearing the name ringing all these years, and I understand what is sovereignty, what is being marginalized, what is being outcast, and the strength that brings upon you. I said, Bankie, and you've heard me say this all the time, I say in the public now, I tell you, keep away from them.
Yes, I am.
Because I see you aiming at the DB police boys, but those receive orders. You could see the two gentlemen that ended up on your farm were lost. They were just given instruction. But I'm going to tell you
Yes.
this. I sat outside of Mansell's when I came and visited you the following day and heard Nivision speak. There were a group of Nivisions in and out of Mansell, and I just sat there and listened to Nivision speak. And I tried my best to research the history of Mark Brantley. And I got Mark Brantley's history right there on Mansell. I got the history of the two policemen that came to visit you here. One have a woman that sell weed and one smokes every morning before he goes to work. But yet these were the two policemen that were chosen to be sent to you. Because policing has traditionally been against the poor. It has never been about the rich. They secure the property and the investments of the rich. If you look at the history of policing in the Caribbean, in St. Kitts, it was bred off the militia. The same persons. Dr. Drew just made it a holiday in 1935 where there was uprising. These persons were shot. In our history books, we never told what were their names or whose family they were from or who family is grieving them up until this day. They've never made matters. We've just seen about the bucklives of writing. Persons were shot that day. That was done by the police and the militia. The history of the police comes from the overseers and the planters and the persons who could be arms to protect their property. We didn't have the right to vote. We didn't have property. We didn't even have the right to own property. We were chattel. And even after being chattel, after being told we were liberated, we were still slaves to our wages. So I want to, not you, I want us to kind of zoom out and look at the bigger picture. It's not the policemen that come and harass us because all these policemen are poor boys. Poor boys from St. Vincent, poor boys from Dominica, poor boys from Grenada, poor boys from St. Kitts. But what makes a poor boy that knows the reality of what's going on in Nevis, that knows the man that he's been sent to get, and go against everything that he believes and end up on your farm and embarrass himself? So I'm telling you, there's a bigger picture. So I zoom out and I go to the high command, the commissioner of police. When have we ever have, throughout our history, go and research it, have we had a police commissioner of merit? They've always been chosen along political lines. Always. Even when we go and we get them from afar, they've always been selected by the Minister of National Security or the Prime Minister. So irrespective of how aloof or how unbiased they're trying to be, they're going to pick a commissioner who won't arrest them. That's why we've never had an arrest of a politician or ex-politician in St. Kitts in all our history, even post-independence. No matter what, it has been plastered across screens, written up in newspapers, reiterated and uttered by politicians on podiums because they always tell us how corrupt the other one is. But yet, when they achieve that power, when they achieve the authority, when they're ministers of national security, we see no arrest. But we can see arrest of farmers all throughout St. Kitts, and we can see the arrest of one of the most upful men in Nevis, in St. Kitts, and maybe even the world. Because I can't speak of the world, I only can speak of the men I know. And I know you, Bankie, are one of the most upful men I have ever met, ever encountered. You're a man that when you speak, when you utter, it manifests. I've seen you at the orchard. I've seen you in your home. I've seen you in your marriage. I've seen you as an upful man and as a farmer. I tell you, I've researched it. We have issues with post-production, and we have issues with people being part-time farmers. Some of the greatest farmers we know throughout St. Kitts and Nevis are part-time farmers. They've never committed wholly and solely. You have done that. You have walked away from a job because you know it wasn't upful. You know you wasn't getting the support that you needed. Still came out and erupted a farm, a legacy farm. You could have gotten any plot of land you wanted. You could have started a farm anywhere. And you started a legacy farm. We started a legacy farm of your uncle. I've never seen you do anything else but upful. I've never seen you do anything else but represent what for me has always been historically the Nivision man, the holistic Nivision man. Whether he's a farmer, whether he's a fisherman, whether they're coming over to build up St. Kitts. The Nivision has always been a sovereign, a strong, and a spiritual man, whether he go locks or not. So I am telling you, every farmer here, every ganja farmer here is rattling in his boots because he know if they could lock you up, come on your farm and lock you up, that the system can't be just. And what they're building cannot be for them. If they didn't lock you up, when brought plans over to Cannabis, that the minister, the AG endorsed, the Prime Minister endorsed, the Minister of Agriculture endorsed, and you call me, Bankie, and said, Doc, I buy the lobby. I said, Bankie, no. they give me a back and a glad faith because, you tell me, Doc, I ain't coming to the back, I done at the front. When I came up to meet you, this was in December, Carnival. So if you were to embarrass Nevis or St. Kitts with weed anytime, it would have been then. By the time I met you, you already have the plants on a trolley coming in with the bellboy, normal as normal. I was the one thinking, oh Lord, we can't bring weed through the lobby of the Marriott in the heart of the active season. And you're like, Doc, I just come over on a boat, in a truck, with all these weed. What is this to come to the lobby? That's what you told me, sir, to meet you. It's only when I'm walking back now, trying to get them back to the exhibition area and out of sight, is then I realize, fuck Garfield, this is what we've been working for, to normalize this plant. Because when we were driving in there, people were taking pictures, people were asking us what's going on. It was the most normal thing. That is when I took up my picture, my camera, and said, I need to videotape history being made. Because I didn't even realize up until that point what we were doing. So we had an indoor and outdoor specialist at the first regional Caribbean-wide cannabis festival. St. Kitts had that in December of 2023. Nubian did the indoor, you did the outdoor, and we had all that exhibition. The Marriott was stink for 3 days. And I never got a call. Even when we left, we were allowed to leave the weed plants overnight at the Marriott. The permanent secretary in the Prime Minister's office was my host. Without her, I would have never been able to get it to. She was also my PS at the time, because at that time, the Medical Cannabis Authority was in the office of the Prime Minister. So I want to say people, like, when I say Bankie is upful, I mean talking about just upful in a spiritual way, upful in every way, representative in every way, example in every way. So if I could have an AG and a DPP signing off on a warrant for that, a magistrate signing off on a warrant for that, what is being legal? What is being a good man or a nice man? And all this, after Sankofa went through what he went through, when he already extolled the virtues of the Rasta man and represent all of us. What we didn't even understand was our constitutional right to privacy, to sovereignty. We'll have this happening in 2026, with persons coming to us and telling us they're ready to welcome the world, and they understand what cannabis can do for us, and they understand the ills and the traumas it has created in the past. On the internet, we have all our leaders saying that, from the past administration to now, apologizing, understanding, indicating that they understand what's going on with this plant. But yet, we have policy on online gaming, policy on giving up sovereignty, giving up judicial rights, giving up seabed, and can't have a man go in a plant in the back of his yard. So what are we advancing for? To move 10 steps backwards? And people are talking about being in the back of the bus? This is about not having a bus, not having a vehicle, or even better, having a vehicle, having the best vehicle, and deciding to walk. Because this is the example here. This is the game changer when they're calling all the other game changers, because what? This represents not only food security, medicinal security, spiritual security, sovereignty to its core. If we could want to lock up an innocent plant, and I steal that from Dr. Mashal, loved it from the very first time I heard it. I always kept me centered. Because at times, even when I was a CEO, I got beside myself and trying to make this thing legal, and it was never legal. I'm glad Sankofa is just trying on. Because again, he showed me that example. When Sankofa was fighting this case, he fought this case with the high priest next to him. He didn't have a lawyer, so it wasn't a legal matter. He didn't have his doctor, so it wasn't a medical matter. But yet, when he forced the court and forced the government to open it through this gate, extol the virtues of this gate, and we understood and we complied. But it can't be at the expense of all the other. It can't be at the expense of what he went through, so that the rest of us don't have to go through that. It cannot be at the expense of that. And it definitely can't be at the expense of who I think represents the vision man.
Doc, I want to thank you for your kind words. Next thing, what was the bill? What bill did I send? Did I send you a bill for all them work that that I come down all the expense? Did I send you a bill yet?
I would have
send
to
you a bill?
invoice you. I would have to invoice you and I wouldn't be able to. Yeah,
Right.
because what you've done is invaluable. Because remember again, we went to
Southern
the
University
in the US.
Yes.
So
Of course.
I could have taken anybody and I got a lot of kickback on that. But again,
Yes.
I thought to myself, who I could carry that is the most holistic. Who I could carry to represent both, not just saying it's, and because I know nothing about Nevis, who I could carry and represent Nevis. And the only whole vision man I know is you. Next to you is Tabo. But
how was that trip?
a lot more to be said, but we're gonna work with him still.
How was it?
But that's what I'm saying. You made me proud. Even when I wasn't with you, when you went over to the Tabasco Island, you made me proud. Everywhere I go with you, PhD doctors were asking you questions. We wanting to know how you arrive at certain equations and certain solutions. So again, when people ask me to look outside and read textbook, and we have a history of 47 years, however, and we can't even quote these great leaders that we have. We keep quoting people from outside and people from Greek and Roman times. So if I could carry as a representative of the Federation and of Nevis, why is it that you're behind the bars? Why is it that it's so archaic that not even a phone call, which is not written on our books though, what is a meal can be provided to you? Because you've been taken off your farm. You were producing food.
Yes,
when they went on your farm, they didn't just find weed alone. So again, when we asking about the holicism, and everybody wants to talk about holistic and complete and renewable, and when you're being the complete man and the renewable man, and extolling all the virtues that the access as little boys to be, but you could be locked up by any dibby police boy. That these high command can't come and do that themselves. The AG, the DPP, they can't execute warrants where they're supposed to execute warrants, but they find time to reach on a farm. Yeah, man, it nearly made me vomit. I wouldn't say vomit, vomit.
One of the surprising things, Yahsonn, let me say, when I was at the police station at Canton Ground, one officer Robertson said, "By Ras, it's 2 weeks to go, you know." I said, 2 weeks to go? What do you mean 2 weeks to go? What do you mean? I know I'm to be in the park. This is all over being in the park. What do you mean 2 weeks to go? So, boy, it's 2 weeks to go. I said, what the hell? So, what I want to do, technician, before Sankofa come in, I want to show 2 videos back to back with the Director of Agriculture, Mr. Randy Elliott, to show he was in the presence and the farm and all this happening. And at the same time, he and Kathy having the discussion over me being a part of the agriculture, which I've paid my funds and stuff. Because this discussion with Mr. Elliott began happen since last year, in the summertime before Mango Festival. This has been planned, okay? And when the thing came up, the cannabis competition cup, I said, you know what? Well, I can do 2 birds with one phone. Enter do the exhibition, the educational display for the agriculture expo, and then harvest the herb to enter the cannabis cup. But going online, the thing wasn't working good to register, so I had to call the CEO so could get some farms and tell them get the portal started properly because people couldn't get to register. So I just want to show the video to show this all been planned and stuff like that. So I'm very surprised all this happened and stuff like that. But yet the director still called me, yesterday, want me to still take part in the agricultural expo. and do the educational display, but they can't work with the plants. It's gonna be the comedy show. So technician, let me go with some videos with Mr. Elliot, Director of Agriculture. Well, okay. See him walking, coming up on the farm. Mr. All right. Elliot. Okay, good. And we have so many episodes in my name. Huh? Yeah, but you cannot know. I will call all man in man. See, if you realize Mr. Elliot down there, pan phone, who you think you talk to? Carty. Down there pan phone. You see him down there? When you come up, you're going to hear me ask him, he tell him them, yeah, but you don't want to admit and in front of the camera, I mean, I play Shaifa. Because 5 minutes before. Let me talk, man. This have to be, this will go wide. The camera. Yeah. So the verdict be? Say yes. You're going to be live, you're going to be a superstar. Because you represent the people of Nevis and with Cannabis. If after this agriculture open, they are not taking part in it again. Because this can be the last, and if I'm going to go through this harassment, me not take part again. You can't talk, but you already can be sure, but they're going to show the party too. People, you can't make up these things, eh? This is a comedy show for me. Because this is orchestrated from where they come from. And they still want me to be in the park. You can't make up them things here. Trust me, you just can't make it up. Sankofa, welcome. Enough respect. Again, you was here earlier this week with your cooperative with Virgin and them. So welcome again to the topics.
Well, Bankie, what I wanted to do, right?
Blessings.
I see
You got Yahsonn.
Internet give me some problems. I might have to move from this.
All right, start with the thing. You say Yahsonn?
Again, some difficulty because I mean, I didn't hear the doc as good as I wanted to. I'm in a different room.
Yeah. All right, start with your thing. Go ahead, Yahsonn.
There's somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, Yahsonn, go ahead, Yahsonn.
And let me just say.
Yeah, that's good. So what I'm gonna do, right, Bankie, is
yes.
I was gonna set the
lens are open now. Go ahead. Wait, let me take the call. Yahsonn, let me take the call. Somebody very important want to say something. So let me take this call here. You can call in now. You're live right now. Go ahead. Huh? You're live. Caller, you're live. If you want to say something. You want to say something? Yes, sir. Let me take the call. Somebody very important want to say something. So let me take this call here. Caller, turn off your device. You're live. You're live. Hello? Go ahead. Yes, go ahead. You're live, caller.
Yeah, greetings. Miguel speaking. I just wanted to share my 2 cents and the whole situation since I've been following. And Bankie, you know that you want to help folk extensively.
Yes, but I wanted to address yourself. Miguel, who is this? Miguel who?
Miguel Fleming. I don't know what my status is, so I can't say. But I think those who know me would know me, right? Yeah. But you know, there are a number of things that are wrong with this, and I must admit that, right?
Yes.
You know, you would have attended, you know, the Cannabis Festival over at the Marriott, no issues. And to see that you register for agriculture open day and, you know, people come and take the plants, it's just crazy to me, right?
Yes.
When the Cannabis Authority is promoting a Cannabis Cup.
Of course.
But let me go back a little bit to last year. Because we need to put this thing into context, right? When the announcement was made that you could bring 5 joints to music festival. Mm-hmm. My question is, what kind of joints people bring into music festival? Is not for recreational purposes they're bringing it for? That's one. How do they purchase the cannabis to get it into music festival? Who they bought it from? They went to a dispensary to purchase the cannabis? You understand?
Of course, we're listening, yes.
They had a medical card to purchase the cannabis? So there are so many mixed messages. And recently there was a consultant who came in right?
Yes.
And if I can remember correctly, when I asked what would be, what is the purpose of the consultant, the response was to train our people into growing cannabis. So there are so many mixed messages. And then when people respond to these mixed messages, they're getting penalized. And if Bankie had, if you were able to bring your plans down to St. Kitts at the launch of the
Cannabis.
the Cannabis Authority, I mean, what message are we sending? Because we reach out to you to bring your plans,
Of course.
right? And so when there is a member from the police force and the board, whatever is discussed on the board, they should go back and pass that information along, so everybody understand what is it they're trying to achieve in terms of making cannabis something in saying it's a Nevis. You see what I'm saying? So I'm quite confused, and I've expressed my disappointment.
Of course, and I appreciate it.
I'm following all the time, but sometimes I ask myself the question whether I should speak or not, and I just can't sit back and don't say anything. And here's why, right? When we look at in legislation, you need to have a cultivator's license, right? You get a cultivator's license, you still need a license to transport your cannabis. If you look at the history of why people used to get murdered and all these type of things, that people thief people weed and stuff, nobody could trust somebody with a weed to move their weed. So you're telling Bankie and all the farmers in St. Kitts and Nevis that if you're growing watermelon, you're growing tomatoes, you need to get a license to move your tomatoes from your farm to the market? So why a cultivator need to still get a transportation license? Why a cultivator still need to get a license to process his cannabis if you want to make cannabis oil? How come a farmer don't need to get another license if you want to do watermelon juice or dried tomatoes? So these little things need to be fixed, because I remember a soldier told me that when they go out and they see people growing cannabis, if they got 10 plants, they can pull up 5. So even the authorities still have so much misunderstanding. So I believe the right thing would have been to just leave Bankie alone and let the Cannabis Authority quickly sit down and have a meeting and discuss what is the way forward and how we are going to remove the ambiguities, because clearly there is. So I'm quite disappointed that this had to happen to Bankie and the other gentleman.
I appreciate you.
And I leave it there for now.
All right, thank you very much. Yahsonn, Doc?
Yeah, I think we could close off that segment of the program now that we've heard from
Yes.
PS, Farmer PS of Agriculture. And he's setting the stage as that, because he's right. Yeah, you can't get more code than that. If we could call it totalitarian, and I'm really proud that he was able to call out and give that very strong opinion. But again, that's an upright opinion. If he could see through the ambiguities and see that is a personal attack, that you can't see any other way than being a personal attack. So I think a lot of the program should speak to what do we do and what should we have in place so that this can be repeated rather than going over and over. Thanks again, Miguel.
Yeah, man. That's the Farmer PS of Agriculture. Yeah, Yahsonn.
You see, a lot of things, as I listen to Miguel and even our conversation here, a lot of things I think is a little bit troubling, because I keep saying Sankofa never took the police commissioner to court for any medical cannabis. Sankofa took the commissioner to court for personal use and for spiritual, religious use, if you want to call it that. When CARICOM looked at cannabis, they looked at cannabis holistically, and they looked at all of these aspects. The government then opted to choose the medical cannabis side to focus on because they claim that that is the side that they could make money off of. And that's how they cite. They cite as pure economics. With that said, I heard Dr. Alexander said earlier that the cannabis and the medical cannabis was under the Prime Minister's office, our ministry. Eventually, it was then placed under the Ministry of Agriculture. And then the recreational or personal use and spiritual use was placed under the Ministry of Ecclesiastic Affairs. And I think we have some issues where the things that Sankofa took the government to court for versus what the government opted to present and what the judge ruling was versus what the government opted to do. And before let's Sankofa in, I think that is how I wanted to premise the discussion, at least for this evening. So tonight we're going to be touching on a very serious and evolving issue in our Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We're going to be talking about Rastafari rights, constitutional rights, and the question of whether the state is respecting them or regulating them too tightly. We could start here. In the landmark case of Sankofa Maccabees versus the Commissioner of Police, the High Court made something very clear. One, Rastafari is recognized as a religion. And two, cannabis is recognized as a sacrament of that religion. And that changed everything. Because once something becomes a constitutional right, the conversation shifts. It is no longer, should this be allowed? It becomes, how far can the state go in limiting it? And this is where it gets interesting. Because today, under the Rastafari Recognition Act of 2023, Rastafari can legally use cannabis as a sacrament, but there's a catch. You must be registered. You must operate within a structured group, and there are limits. So here is the question that I have. Why must a Rastafari register with the state to use a sacrament when a Christian don't have to register to drink the communion, drink the wine? If the government said tomorrow that only registered Christians could take communion, you think that's going to be an outrage? So why is a different standard being applied? Rastafari sacrament is not only about smoking. It includes cultivating, harvesting, and preparing the herbs. So, the real constitutional question, does the Constitution protect just the use of the sacrament or the entire spiritual relationship with the plant? Because if it protects the full practice, then limiting cultivation becomes a serious legal issue. And this is where a powerful legal principle comes in, something called the least restrictive means test. It says if the state is going to limit your constitutional right, it must do so in the least restrictive way possible. So, is forcing registration the least restrictive way, or is it control? Are limits on cultivation necessary, or are they interfering with religious practice? So I mean, these are just some of the things that I am professing, because I think these are some of the things that have been overlooked and have not necessarily been discussed, because at this point, realistically, like Garfield was alluding to earlier, that it's not necessarily the police that we should be after. But it's our elected officials, because the Ministry of Ecclesiastic Affairs is headed by the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley. If anybody in St. Kitts and Nevis could ever tell me one time that they've ever heard a conversation about cannabis from that minister, I am willing to, but I've never heard any. And if you're supposed to go to that ministry today in terms of achieving the legal things that you are supposed to at this point, in terms of whether it's getting your 5 trees, the license for your 5 trees, or the license for your 56 grams, and all the other things that should be done under the Rastafari, there is at this point nothing. You can't get nothing from them. So part of what I have been suggesting and recommending as part of my argument is a full moratorium in the interim until these two arms of government who have their problem, because the problem is the executive have passed some laws. Some regulations are supposed to be put in place. They ain't fully put a lot of the regulations in place. So the police is saying, well, I'm working with the old law. Okay, this is two arms of government having issues. But while they're having these issues, people like Bankie, people like Jama, people like other people are suffering, and their constitutional rights are being breached, because I just point out in terms of what the Constitution says. And in terms of also the least restrictive way possible. Are they using the least restrictive way? Because they didn't change the Constitution, you know. And the Constitution is the highest law of the land. And nothing's supposed to trump the Constitution. And in Sankofa case, the Constitution was made clear what we have the rights to do. And when we look at it from a religious standpoint, we could see where, if you look at it from a religious standpoint, Rastafari is being treated totally different from any other religion in St. Kitts and Nevis. They got to register to use the sacrament. A man want to tell them how much of the sacrament. Anybody could tell the preacher if he want to stockpile 100 cases of wine. Anybody tell this preacher he can't get 100 cases of wine in the church? No, I mean, people might not have ever really looked at this, but we are looking at it from a holistic standpoint, because we have religious rights. Like Bankie spoke about the fact about taking off his crown. Bankie have a right, if that is a part of his religion, not to take off his hat. Nobody supposed to be able to make him take off his hat. Neither for no picture, nor nothing, because that is his religious rights. I remember when I was in Canada working for Afria, when I went for my, which is a cannabis company, which is now Tilray, and this is another thing, the government sent me where go work for cannabis, and now I come back. I mean, nothing changed since 2019. 2 years I work in Afria, one of the biggest cannabis companies in Canada. And back here still in 2026, we still having these things. But anyway, the point I was making, when I went for my, I think it was held, some one of those cards, I had to go take a picture, and I saw other people who were in my group and from St. Kitts and so on. They went in and they were telling them they have to take off their hat. When I went in, I let them know that my crown is a part of my religion. No question after that. After I tell them it's a part of my religion, no question after that. So, okay, put your head this way, take your picture. So they understand. And like Bankie said, a lot of the times, our rights are being trampled and disrespected, and it took Sankofa to highlight these constitutional rights. And even after that, seemingly, they're still being trampled on. And even the amendments that the government would have made, there's still ways and means to challenge them. And I guess maybe, no, like you said earlier on, Garfield, you're sorry, and at the same time, because at the same time, it provides the opportunity for another opportunity to challenge the Constitution, or to have a constitutional challenge for some of these things that, what to me, in my opinion, were not addressed properly. Greetings, Sankofa. I just wanted to set the backdrop that way so that you can now come in and speak to what I would have said, and from your perspective, what may be correct or not correct, or how you view it. So we're going to give you the floor to do that just now. We're not hearing you, Sankofa.
You pause.
So probably you need to turn on your mic.
Yeah, the mic on. I just tell
All right,
you,
good now.
hear me? You can't hear me?
Loud and clear. Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
blessed love, glory to the Father, creator of Zion and earth, his Son, Yahshua Emmanuel, the Messiah, as we know it from his majesty, and Emperor Haile Selassie the First, the lawgiver, the ancient of days. The scepter shall not depart from David, nor the lawgiver from between his feet, until the coming of Shiloh, and unto him shall be the gathering of the people, So man, give thanks to the virgins, give thanks to Bankie, all the Rasta man, them even locks or no locks, because them man know them a Rasta. Right. Still, directly Alexander, you got Alexander there. Big Rasta, give thanks for Alexander. Alexander was there at the courthouse, before anybody. Alexander came up the word, I had no chance to time in when I win the case too. So that's how me and Alexander get close, because I see him and all the while, but we tight, we eat food by Kamal all the time, reason 1 or 2 times, but not no deep reasoning, but after that day, we get tight. And I hope we stay tight, Me no want to come like how you other people there who used to be tight with you coming up. That straight pan radio,
Just stop full, that's all.
Anyway, let me stick together. Okay, and Yahsonn, enough respect, give thanks. Bankie, sorry to hear that you had to go through that energy list still. You don't know, we're on the back of field.
The universe works in the Virgin. That's the universe works in it.
Yeah, it's an everlasting battle. You set yourself in a good position still, because if you just use the constitution wise, you could eat a food. If you want me represent, I don't tell you I might charge you 10,000. Yeah. Anyway,
I agree. You need to mash me up.
You got to be serious
to mash me up, because every time I bring up on the show, you just stays mashing me up. I have to stop bringing up on the show.
When you mash up, I got to talk to my field back if I can't be free. I only I want to say how you feel. All of us don't have the same feeling. All of us got to be able to express the feeling. All of us don't have the same feeling. That's always reasonable, but we still kick it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think it's like that's important, because as the brethren really define my areas of dealing with the Constitution was specific to religious rights, which they want to put it as sacrament, but I was saying religious rights all the way. If you check some of my affidavit, them when I push the sacramental talk, and other Rasta too, and let's be real about that. They prefer to hear that word there. And when I put in my documents...
Stay quiet there. I have a car coming in. You're virgin. Hold a minute, Sankofa.
Okay. Me not get me party in at all, but I'm going to wait.
Yeah, young 18, man. You're virgin. Good evening, Carla.
Yes, Sankofa, my rebel.
Yes. Go ahead, Carla.
I Sankofa talking.
I realize we're going in our level of reasoning was something that we need to adjust, that is properly on the grounds of our people, and not just in singles and it, but the wider part of the world. And we fail to admit it because we find ourselves looking to have personal gain or some kind of popularity. And I will put this in the format. We cannot look at herb as any essence to talking about labeling. That's number one. And we find that it's been happening since the inception of the establishment of the authority towards the first movement of the commission that was under the CMO, and now where we see now the licensing authority is now under the CEO, who is here headed as Pretty Navi Mill. Now we realize as people, and me not looking it from the Rastafari view alone. People, because we have a voice, a right to use herb, whether you're Rasta or you are not Rasta. And we got to done with this notion, feeling like it's just us as Rasta alone to value this part of the herb. I would like to state here, we have a problem and we have a serious problem. Herb is not a drug, and until Rastafari and people use herb, stop let Babylon come in the place and telling them they're using illicit drug. Tell them we're not using no drug, we're using a natural plant. But because we want to make it look like it's fear man game, you know, it's a fear man game, you know. Because not even a police and an army man could come and tell me a damn thing about putting myself about how to use herb. We have a right to use herb, whether you're smoking, eat it, or you're drinking, or whatever the value of what you see. The essence of what's supposed to be. And we will again see the economic and educational value within these moments to venture our young generation, because you cannot have people talking about we're going to take this year. The institution is done violation to our people, and to this day, since in 2019, he has been violated and still violating. If we remove that drug act, what was placed on us for 2020,
10 seconds, wrap up.
Yeah, anyway, I was left with it because we look like we really want to challenge the fight that we really need to challenge. But we're looking for personal.
You can always call back. You can always call back. All right, Sankofa, sorry about that. Continue.
Bankie, I want to request that we don't interrupt Sankofa and let him complete it.
No problem. That's easy. No problem. Call
yeah, I want to just tell a small little story. Nothing big enough. Me ain't going to be on the mic too long. But the reality of the situation is that we want the case for you know, religious rights. At the end, still they say sacramental use, you know, because it's hard to judge sacramental use, and religious rights is more of a broader energy, right? Sacramental use is going to be more specific, so you're only going to use it under certain circumstances, otherwise they're going to look to judge you and criticize you. But when you say religious rights, you have more open towards using the herb on that level. You have privacy rights still too. So one can't just really come in your house just so no more, just for the sake of cannabis. That's why you always hear them add on the extra thing. They always add it on in the past too, because cannabis wasn't as illegal as we thought. You know, it just was to challenge it, challenge the illegality of it. And we reached to one step. So now it's just to go to the another step. Because if they're going to try, and this happening more in Nevis, let's be realistic, eh? Because like I show you, people building houses, living a good life in St. Kitts right now after cannabis and just enjoying cannabis trade and what's not. They say don't smoke in the public. That's what the government want. The reality of the situation, I only find that can work in certain areas. It can't work directly. Say if I on the beach, that is a public area. Nobody there owe me, and me want to just live, and me want to cool. How should the law come affect me in that position when I'm not really offending anyone? Law comes with offense also too. So it's like we in a good position really still. You know, we in a good position. In St. Kitts, we don't really have some of the things that they are them saying in Nevis. So what really going on, there's internal problems, like to say you could see Jeffrey in so much internal herb thing, and you might have Joe might want it, but still can't really just talk after it, or other people might be whispering things same way to him, and there's conflicts. But it's still in St. Kitts, there's a level of moratorium going on still, because the police don't beat us down as they used to. And that's because a man like Alexander, who set things right when he was in as El Presidente, El Chief, you know? And it's like, why the man even leave from the position? I can't say I'm upset with him, but he know that I didn't want him to leave from the position. But everybody can do what they want to do, and he need to answer for that, but not to publicly maybe, but at least privately. Lord, man, let me know, because I think you was put in the position to help us. And then from your gone, problems again. You don't see what's going on. And there wasn't really no problem during the time you take on. You see it? When Tim had the banner, they didn't want to do it. It was obvious because they're saying something with them out trying to figure out with the case. We sit down with the Attorney General. There was a lot of discrepancies, a lot of differences that we had. And they didn't do a good job. with that administration with the herb, because Timothy Plano say, really wants. So he was working from his heart and he was the head. I don't see us in that same position with Joe. I'm gonna be honest. I think Joe willing, but there's forces that he have to fight inside his team who probably don't want it fully. I think some of them with it too directly, want it to happen because the younger generation, So these are political internal matters in people think, but that shouldn't really be affecting us. And because they ain't dealing with it right, the police they don't understand the law properly. Meaning the Attorney General might talk to the Commissioner of Police, but the Commissioner of Police, because a lot of them personally don't want to deal with the herb. So it's more of a personal issue, but they have to pay the price because they did something wrong. They went against the Constitution because according to the case, Rasta have an area where they gather, an area where they keep their farm. Those areas you could plant pretty much unlimited amount of herbs. Now within the yard space, they're trying to control with a 5-tree, but it doesn't really, your yard space could also be your religious area where you're gathering. But what they want is for you to register it. That's what they're saying. Should you really have to register it? I don't believe that. The reason for that is because having to register it, it make it almost seems like it's not a free right. They don't want to make no big money from it, and suppose you just want to have the rights to and just got you. What's the problem? Why do you have to register it? You only register it if you're trying to make something out of it in a sense, and they want tax and different things. So the Constitution give us the right now to have the trees them around the areas where is our natural environment in a technical farm where we're gathering. And if our farm is where we're gathering, I guess in the future, we will register with farm who want to, but I don't feel like a person should be mandated, because based on privacy rights, it shouldn't be mandated because it's already in the Constitution, the right to privacy. You also have the right, this is another important one, if it's just for herb, they come in and they know that you're not really into other things. I also argue for Section 9, which is illegal, not illegal, but unlawful search and seizure, meaning that if herb is now decriminalized, you can't just go in a man's house just to say you're going to look for ganja. That's a contradiction. It's a contradiction towards the right to privacy also, and it's a contradiction to his religious rights because his home is his first area. He practicing his way of life. You see it? And I say religious rights, but it's really a way of life, to tell you the honest truth. You see it? Because this has been our way of life since we come into the faith. Most Rasta use herb as part of their way of life. So then when you limit herb towards all these medical marijuana and all these rules and regulations still stifling us, for a one who just want to use the herb, just based on how he been using it from since he come up. And some of them man ain't even into no lot of selling. And some into selling. One should be able to make money from the herb and also have it for just a religious purpose as well too. They're trying to separate the two, and you can't separate, just like they're separating the herb itself with the CBD, and they didn't know that all these things was in the herb. They didn't even have no name for it. All these names patented. CBD is patented by the Israeli government, with the USA, Check it out on the patents them. They even want to try patent THC. But make sure they get that they work yet. So when they patent all these natural ingredients that is inside the plant that Father create, that means that they're gonna just modify the herb and say that they have the right to the herb more than us and give a specific herb when the entourage effect of using the herb, how we been using it all the time, just burn weed. You see it? Whether you got high or low THC, you use the herb and you benefit from the herb because when it reach in your body, it just open up all the receptors. Now we understanding all that, but we knew it by liberty, but we didn't understand it technically now with all these scientific terms, but we were living it. So in generally, what I got to say is, Bankie, take it to another level, you see it, and accomplish your will, accomplish your goal. The best way, as I show you, is to do that. Stop the matter. Don't let the matter go up and down in the magistrate court, go waste up your money, waste up time, waste up your energy. Stop the matter in the magistrate court. That's the first thing I did. When I see the case with Bankie, I stopped the matter at the appellate court and I asked for interlocutory relief. You see it? So that you could go and redress the matter straight to the High Court, which is the constitutional court part of the High Court, not the criminal part. And nobody ain't no criminal here. The government ain't no criminal and you ain't no criminal. You're trying to just get a matter decided upon, so to set it in a higher level. You see it, or another level. So man be behind the movement to do that there. And I don't want,
Yes,
I personally have to do it fighting Dr. Joe for sure, because I know that man the long time and I know him to be a good person and I know him to be a Ivy youth. He just in a bad position. He took on the wrong seat and he in the hot seat. You see it? So I hope he can do better. You see it? And the same thing for Samal too. I mean, how much time Samal don't invite me to that thing there where we come and do poetry, Kalaska, everybody have a good time and what's not. And you know, we can't make these things personal because then we're gonna end up fight against ourselves and become tribal. So me not really see that they can work for towards our benefit. I think that if we sit down and reason, we can get everything we want because we have the right to the things them. So, but if we sit down and reason, because, you know, everybody, I don't want to say too much about the case still because I don't want to say anything that could affect the case in a negative way. You see it? So, I still be mindful of what I say in still Bankie. But privately, we're going to reason some more on the matter. Because publicly, you can't go forward.
Of course.
Yeah, but that important to stop the case now. Don't let them go try to drag you. Because they're going to eventually make an offer, I'm sure. If it's good, I would take the judgment offer, but at the same time, ask them to change the law. Make sure they change the law with the offer. That's all they got to do. And that's why it's going to boil down to. It's all about the Attorney General putting a lot of damn pen to paper, you know, because that's what he did, you know. He could have done way better. He could have done way better because he's not putting exactly what we want. He putting what he feel like he gonna give us. Because some slavery thing. We not depend that. And they know that we ain't on that, regardless.
Garfield?
Yeah. Sankofa. What I think we don't grasp, and one of the fundamental things of why we don't grasp it is because we were never taught to genuinely love our own. Like we grow up with other people's heroes. We import our heroes. We talk about importing food. We import our heroes. So when I was in Antigua for the festival in Antigua and I see the room recognize Sankofa, it was beholding to me to understand that that's the code breaker. He could speak to you on the case because he walk the walk and talk the talk, but he do it in a way that it can be repeated. So it is a code break, and more than a code break, it's when you have a generational curse and it's broken. Because you know how much persons, and I'm gonna backtrack some more because Sankofa said he know me since the case. And I
knew you before the case, basketball, so don't try to okay, go, I hear time.
Good. But I want to talk about that because Sankofa came back from the US and was working in social services and impacting his community of Detopiks. Like I grew up and the only place I knew of, my only consciousness of Detopiks was going Saddlers, and like when you go on Saddlers and reach that far around, you see a couple of Detopiks bus run longer than Detopiks. So you would see the name Detopiks, and I was always fascinated by the way it's spelled. And my first understanding and genuine deep consciousness of Detopiks through Sankofa, because when he came back, when he started like making musicians of some of the young Rastamen that were just converted, people like Jungles, Simburgers, all them guys, and representing country and started a team in Detopiks. He was impacting his community in a way Bankie's impacting Nevis. And he received a fight ground as a result of that. Because all of us are weed smokers, and even today I was talking about this in East Street, that herb is so magical that imagine you're trying to sell herb and it's impossible for you to keep it on the wraps. Because if you're selling it, you want people to hear that you got the good stuff, and people gonna come and ask, who got the good herb? Are people gonna say, yo, I had some bad weed in the gate from Bankie, or whatever the case may be? So when you see a police raid a man, that's a police choice. That's when they know, hey, we got a quarter to meet. We need a few ganja arrests because we don't know who the ganja man then be. We don't know who got the weed. And what we gotta do at the moment, choose which one of them boys down there we're gonna go and grab up. And so what does it come down to? It comes down to something personal. Man, like how that one look at me. That one look like he back. Because I don't know who are the weed sellers and the weed growers. Our communities are small. That's why Nevis is bearing the brunt right now. For the two reasons that is universally known. Nevis policemen don't have much to do. There's not much crime in Nevis. Nevisians are very sovereign beings. Apart from the few that are trying to be Kittians are obsessed with Bastia. Nevisians on their own beat, their own rhythm, their own time.
Mm-hmm.
So policing doesn't need all the work, because really and truly, police do not solve crime.
Mm-hmm.
And the only role that we need them to do is serve and protect. And we know from little boys. I grew up as a little boy, and I wasn't a bandit. But all of us knew by pure street etiquette, make up a name to get them when they stop you. Why was that distrust of police inherent in our culture? And we wasn't a crime syndicated city. It's because there's a genuine distrust of the police, because we know they execute their duties with a lot of bias. They know who the criminals are, they know who committed most of the crime, and they decide, they decide who really is going to get the brunt of the law. And this is something all of us know, little black boys growing up, especially if from poor neighborhoods or from the country. So when I see Sankofa coming back, I knew he was targeted. Because they could see all the positives he was doing in basketball, in Bay, in the social services. And they still decided they're going to run him without pay. Because I can remember the cases that adding up to that there. And even afterwards, because he decided, I'm going to stand up. So if as a little black boy, you've learned from since in school, every time you stand up, you're going to be punished. So even when Bankie Sankofa spoke earlier about us being amicable and me meeting certain person amicably, no, Sankofa, throughout our history, violence has solved all our issues. Because violence is what brought us here slaves, and it's violence that we sought liberation through violence. Because we tried it again with all the other means, and it was only violence was the only way to get our liberty, and we're fighting that violence of oppression up to now. So at sometimes it's not going to be, hey, let's meet and discuss, because we realize the discussion is going nowhere. So again, I am seeing, I repeat, a loop, because I'm great at pattern recognition. That's why I'm a good doctor, because doctoring is not about medicine and learning books. It's about understanding what are the patterns your patients are repeating. Mm-hmm. How they are being a disservice to themselves, because I always say this, for you to be diseased, you have to lack ease. So Sankofa and Bankie, I want us again to zoom out and understand why guys like us are being targeted, and why guys like us feel that it's our duty to educate. Because there's somebody saying here, they want me to discuss. I'm way above trying to convert people to cannabis, or trying to impress upon them the wonders of cannabis. Because Marisha was on earlier, and he highlighted something that was so cool. And it wasn't even a matter what he said. It's just his positioning and perspective, because I know he's not for the weed. He's an ex-policeman, ex-soldier. He's not for it.
He's not into it.
But he's in that group of persons who really don't care. Unless it's upsetting you, he allows you to be sovereign and make your own choice. But there are also a group of persons, for whatever reason, whether it's for fear, ignorance, or even anger from past discussions or past history with the plan, they hate the plan. I don't think it's my job. I don't think it's any of you guys' job to convert them or to show them otherwise. Our example itself will show them otherwise. Because when I was growing up, I was told ganja would send me crazy. Ganja would do this, ganja would do that. And I'm a living example that is not. Even when they tell you make it lazy, I'm not lazy to don't put the politicians' feet to the fire. I'm not lazy to hold myself up full. I'm not lazy to suffer and sacrifice through what I'm going on now because of my personal choices. So again, I always go back to two things. Even when I had the role of CEO, there were two hallmarks. One, that this is an innocent plan. So it means everybody that sees it as guilty, they have their own demons to deal with. And my emphasis and my focus cannot be on arriving at a solution for them. It has to be amongst the persons who love it, who are willing to learn about it, or who have their minds open. Because that's a large majority. It's a minority that's making the noise, that's interceding, and they have their issues and they have to deal with their issues. And there are persons who can deal with those issues with them. But I think us as light bringers, we're focusing on the wrong things. And instead of hemorrhaging and leaking our energy and trying to convert persons and inform and do this, what we call education, because that is not education. Everybody has a smartphone now. You can see where people's motivations lies. Again, I said this to Bankie from since it's happened. This is the moment where we separate the sheep from the goat, because goats cannot lead sheep. Our roles are not as leaders, our roles are as examples. We live sovereign, we live honest, we live authoritatively and authentic, and people say, hey, I like that way that guy moves. I think I might move that way. I might have a conversation with that guy. Our job is not to be up on pedestals like the other names mentioned tonight. Our job is not to receive their roles and to receive their task, because we see at the end of the day we're targeted. No, that is my sovereign conclusion. Yeah. No more education. Who want to be educated will come close. Who want to be educated will be living the same examples. We'll see it reflecting and resonating. Sankofa said it tonight. We always at odds. Even when we were working with the AG, we always at odds. But for me, it has always been iron sharpening iron. Bankie and I, since we've known each other, we've always been exchanging services, helping out each other's friends, and we've never discussed money ever. And that is the extreme of the life I've lived, and every book I've read that told me that money is at the center, and if you can't have money, you can't have happiness, and you can't have that. And I'm telling you, I've had the relationships in my adult life where there's been no exchange of money, but services. I could count on Bankie. So what generates that? So why am I trying to convince people who are not of my village? I don't even want to use the word tribe. Not of my ilk, not of my residence, not of my cohesion. Why am I doing that? Why are we doing that? Because we talk, when I grew up at the feet of these rastas, they weren't joining together. Every rasta shop looked unique, even though they were painted with the same colors. Every rasta man lived his life sovereign. So even when we had those debates, Sankofa could remind you, when they're talking about going into the schools, I was never for that. Rastas need to educate themselves, whether it's homeschooling or start the Rasta schools. We need to be having conversations, because the politicians are having their conversations and they're not cannabis conversations. They're not ganja conversations. They're not wellness conversations. They're conversations about winning. So I agree. Some of them I love them even till now, but I know and I see and I feel where their priorities are at. So why would I act otherwise? Why would I meet at their table to have conversations with them and negotiate with them if I could see where their priorities are? When they tell me their priorities, when I see who and whose neck they put their foot. Yeah. Sankofa, you are a living legend. And that comes with a unique responsibility that now you can't curl back up in a shell. Because you represent, just like I don't talk to Bankie, you represent Rasta. Rasta family, Rasta man, Rasta wife, Rasta institutions that you always assisting and aiding in, Rasta business. You are the example. So to hemorrhage your energy otherwise, no, it's to align now. So now, because again, in the future they're going to be talking about your case, because you said something tonight that's paramount. That St. Kitts is, when it comes to the innocent plan, St. Kitts is the freest nation on the earth because of your case. It's referenced all around the world now. And it's never going to stop. So when people go to the Mecca because of Islam, in some future, people are going to come to this Mecca called St. Kitts and speak of you. That is why I'm acting now as I'm acting now. Because just like Fidel, I know my future is already absorbed. It matters little to me what people think
I know
of
you want to big me up in the dark, but I mean, let me just level up on that talk still. Because I don't want nobody get offended out there still because you're trying to big me up on them level. Which I appreciate what you're trying to do. I don't mean you always go to this here, I thank you for being there for me big time, eh? But
Sankofa.
I got
Sankofa. Yeah. Watch this. Sometimes we don't accept our credits. The man giving you your credits, and it's a reality. Whenever there's anything to do with cannabis right now, your case set precedents. That is the case that is being
but
used.
what about Bankie? Because most of my case come from Bankie case.
But that's what you do. That's what you do.
But a lot of man now read Bankie case. And just when Bankie case come up now, it's just how president set for a time, and then it's like it just elevation to another level.
So you can't turn on my volume. You can't turn on your volume. So Bankie volume pull on. So Bankie volume could go up. What could happen is that every time you mention, every time you're interviewed, and this is said about you, you accept it, and then you make reference to that because now we are living where we're seeing interviews about Mali that we couldn't see back in the day because some of us didn't even own VHS. We see interviews of Bob.
I will still say give thanks. Still elder.
Yes, sorry.
I mean, all of us getting old now. You're not really elder, but still give thanks, Doc. Give thanks, Doc. Give thanks still, Doc.
Yes.
The girl say, you're giving me shine, just take it. Yeah.
Yes, sorry. Exactly. Yeah, big up Susie and all those who logged in. You want to get in any comments, Yahsonn, before you continue the conversation? I'll get in any calls. Who want to call in, make any comments? Voice your opinion on any topic?
In terms of the comments, man, the comments on the wall have been going crazy all evening. So we got, let me see if I could get back to the start here. I want to say at this point, thanks to all of you who are logged in. And if we have new followers or listeners, please go on over to the YouTube platform, take a minute, subscribe to the YouTube platform, click on the notification bell. We're not asking you for a donation, but just doing that will help us in a great way. That's all we're asking. We have, in terms of the comments, we have, let's see, as we scroll up and go down the line, we have, okay, starting from Wifey says, big up Wifey as for, says, big up Bankie, big up Yahsonn. Valentino Maverick says, Garfield on that plane tomorrow too. The speakers are not showing on the screen. Where are you watching from? I'm not certain where you're watching from, but everybody is on, I guess. Okay. Wilkin head big like a coconut. That's horrible. Yes, Bankie, they need to be removed. Set of failures. Oliver Libert says, hi, Bankie, Yahsonn, and the doctor. Sherry and Richard says, good night.
Good night, everyone.
Hello to all. Welcome to the platform. Oliver Libert says, so true, doctor. Pedro Gemat 6120 says, greetings. Justice Sorry, GAT says, facts. Doctor Justin Huggins says, good night, my boy. Facts, doctor. The system worldwide controlled and protected by powerful people. Marva Daniel says, greetings. Valentino Maverick says, Sankofa, you're packing for tomorrow? I guess that was when you were not on yet. So they were wondering if you're packing for tomorrow. This is one thing, whether that's why...
You know me going with them and they, because no them and they invite me, the over invite me, so I definitely gave myself organized already. Yeah,
so you're on the trip
if I want the story, just ask me a question, maybe live and direct, from the,
so
I want to say the horse mouth, but the Ras mouth, So remember me
Wait. Wait, Virgin, you on the trip? Sankofa, you on the trip to go to the 5 continent too?
Not 5. What 5? Me could get 5 continent. Me no wouldn't want so much continent, you know. I just have to come back here right now.
Bankie, this is second trip to the motherland. His second trip. I remember he big up to man tonight, you know.
Hey, I got to tell you the story, you know, because I don't know how you want the story. I want the story. And you know me could talk.
Hold on, Sankofa.
We want explanation.
Hey, I wish I would have heard why you talk about. I go watch my video. I go watch my video to see why you talk about, man. How are you back time? I go listen back the video. After we done,
Hey, I kill me today, Virgin.
Sankofa, hold on, Sankofa. Nobody was talking about you. See what happened? The doc was on, Bankie was on, I was on, you are not on yet. So this is somebody in the comment box saying, "By Sankofa must be packing." I guess that person maybe know you go in, but we ain't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
It's a comment I read in.
Other man going to, you know, but then I said, but I will tell you who going.
I see the list. How you going?
Okay, you can't leave. Shiloh too.
Wow. Yahsonn, you're going to?
Yeah.
Yahsonn, you're going? You're going to?
Nobody call me. You're going, Bankie?
Just checking, just making sure. I know, just making sure.
Nobody from Nevis going. Brantley ain't behaving himself, so nobody from Nevis going.
I give thanks for the opportunity. Let's be realistic. Before, this opportunity wasn't existing for I and I. Now, they're existing for I and I because of the situation. If you was in the team, it would have been on another level.
Which team that? Wait. What team are you talking about here?
On another level. You see?
What team is that, Sankofa? What team? What team are you talking about? What team?
You know them man there. There's a generation of people that was given a task. There was a generation of people that was given a task.
Yo.
Regardless of where they land, you know. All of us land in an area, you know, but it was a generation of people. And it's not just I and I, it's other Rasta man too. Every generation have these tasks for I and I to accomplish. You see it? And Father, put us in the position to accomplish the tasks and the things that you wanted to accomplish, even from a little youth, because there's no way they could stop the movement, regardless. You see it? Everywhere I go, I see this man outside the federation. He don't attack that leader. When I go at Tiga, Dr. Alexander, you know? When I go over, Alexander, these things could have never happened to Harvey in another, without the right people in the right places, man. Man give thanks for that, you know. And it's like, it's no betrayal because man will still speak what I believe in.
Yahsonn, let me come in on this one because
Calm down. I can't keep with the laughing thing. My belly hurt me, man. I can't keep with the laughing thing. I have to listen to comedy all part of it right now.
I start the talking thing. But up to now, I'm not tell you what really happened. But I'm gonna leave it so. Cause remember this trip is more from over there than on here, you know. It's a unity, yes. But you don't know. We can't afford certain things, certain accommodations, certain things. Yeah.
We just do a little teasing, but from the time I hear that trip, you is one man I wanted on it. You and Respect, that's the two people.
But the woman, I got a song where me not even release in a SK yet. But it's at the second time. With the blessings from the Most High, of course. Man gonna get to release it over there. And they want it on another level. And they're offering things. They're offering video. They're offering things. So, man it's not even from just here. It's really from there. That's why I could go again because it's like they ask for me. Me not ask. No. I suppose it's me get all the time.
No, respect,
from nobody, you know, just tell me,
You started
Sankofa.
mashing me up, so if you get mashed up too, you
People
started
want to
mashing up this
use
evening.
me.
You have
They
to
might
mash up.
feel like they're using me, but they can't use me because I with Father. My mission is different. I have a thing that I write in 1993 when I was going university, African Caribbean unity for better or for worse. And I printed that there in the newspaper here in St. Kitts. So I comfortable. If I get to present
Yes,
that
I.
evening, I will be comfortable because that's something I write even before my Rasta. Understand? Man always
Yes.
been African centered. Don't let the light skin thing and me don't get dark because look how long me here, me done darking out and all that. But do not let the light skin thing fool you, man. Always a different Africa. You see it? Africa always been on my mind. You see it?
Okay.
So man, give thanks to
Sankofa.
Father put me in a position to serve in that area right now. Because it's a service. Is what the woman
Sankofa.
want. I give her she stand, get the little reasoning and the understanding and got you.
Yes,
Hope I
I.
could see more
Sankofa.
things though,
Watch
because
it. Watch it. No, enough respect, right? Garfield, I'm gonna let you get in the point that you wanted to get in. Sankofa, to the listening public, a lot of people might only be familiar with Sankofa. And if we're talking about Pops tonight, a lot of people get more familiar with Sankofa from the cannabis case side of things. So you kind of gain that popularity in terms of cannabis from that aspect. But a lot of people might not know Sankofa, the artist, sorry, right? The musician, the veteran. I mean, Sankofa would have been out there for years and years, making tracks, building tracks. I mean, as it you call something the Shiloh and I mean jungles and all them man back in them time. I
I wish I
remember
could
Sankofa
carry
back
all
in
them,
that
man.
time. So Sankofa, hold on. So what I'm saying for me personally, I am grateful that you get the opportunity to go out there to still at this time boost your career. I mean, build that side of you as well, and really try to Africa as Rastafari again too. Because when you travel, apart from the music, you always carry that foundation Rastafari meditation, and you'll be able to represent us well out there. So I mean, that's me personally. That's how I feel. So me look at the other side of things. I mean, however people may talk, and you got to realize that people will always talk still, right? So no worry with that. And whether people come with the political side and say them things are minor matters, them are minor matters. Just for me, just focus on representing yourself as the elder and play your music and do your thing and just take the opportunity. Garfield, you can forward in and make your comment.
No,
Yeah, man.
I would like to say something before Garfield even get to say something because I can't come drop them talk on me and me not get to respond. You see it? Because it's like last week Thursday, I go check a man like Samal for a walk. You see what me I say? Because I wanted now to go deal with the school farming program because my money I run out, my money low. You see it? And then when I reached there, the man telling me the woman like this song what me sing, and she was interested in having me back to come forward and hopefully be able to sing this song and to take the song on another level because she said that she could think that if I get a recording over there, then maybe it's possible that I could go forward and get some backups from there and do a thing still and maybe even do a video and she will push it on the radio. That's the reasoning I get. I know that because of my popularity, things going on and people want to be close. I understand all these things, but I cannot be a fool and let my blessing go because of situations like that and what people going to say and what people not going to say. I know my heart clean. I went to the man to look for a work because I wanted to do a consulting work because I believe I could have make a difference with the school farming because they're in shabs. First, they need fencing. That's the first thing they need to do because they not fence up. You know, my money running low, my farming doing the way I want, and that's what happened. And then the man tell me about this thing. When I asked him nothing about that, it was a shock to me. Just like the first time somebody called me and tell me going Africa, I want to know what going on and what's the how this happened and whatever. So man give thanks for
You
that.
ain't,
Bankie got to
You
give
ain't got to
thanks for
explain. You ain't got to explain yourself, Sankofa. You understand? You ain't got to explain. You ain't got to explain yourself,
I
Virgin.
got
You
to explain
understand?
myself.
Nah,
And
you ain't
all
got
of us
to,
who get these
Virgin.
opportunities, we should give thanks for them. And
Yeah,
if it's a benefit for you, people will try to use you because you're in a position where people look up to
of
you.
course.
But you got to be
Yes,
wise with what you are dealing with still,
yes, I.
Bankie. And same
Of
thing,
course,
Yahsonn. It gonna happen to all of us. Me and them man ain't no enemy. The two man name me, the I call is because I could call
of
the
course.
name. They're not my
Got you.
enemies. Only them I could talk to talk, but me I could call name and wherever. You see it? So I rolling, and trying to just accomplish the will of the Father, and now left that out still. And there's an African unity in a meeting long time, and the song
Yes, I.
itself, when we are going to release it either May 5th or May 25th, it got to be upon one of
Well,
them days there. In a
all
sinkers.
right.
But for now, I'm going to let Africa get it and eat it and chop on it. And I hope they not spit it
Okay.
out. That's all I could hope for. And I decide that
All right.
Shiloh will have to move with me.
Well, let me say, if you're just tuning in, you listen. Our guest this evening is Ras Sankofa, and other guest is Dr. Garfield Alexander. We're just discussing the injustice, what's going on in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, especially the Nevis part, where the police is abusing its citizens, and we asking for change and removal of those police that had anything to do with my case and arrest, and also Jama case, Rastaman Jama Elder, which our rights have been infringed on, and anyone had anyone, no matter whatever how high they sit our position is, have to be account for what happened. And for that, I mean, we ain't gonna boycott for next week, Thursday and Friday. I'm asking those, instead of patronizing the agriculture fair, support Rastaman Jama over in New River. Go by the man style, patronize the man by the man. He's been working in the agricultural sector, farming since in the 70s, and the man still a farm. When going to school, could remember going to Jama Farm and Kudol and all the man and so who transferred to St. Kitts now, Layamiga Farms. As a youth, then guys inspired me apart from my uncle. Doug and all the man over there, and Spankai, who moved in the States. Those are the farms used to visit for farm in the 90s. So also by cutting the cannabis competition, wherever they got out there. Because until they put things in place where nobody getting locked up for herb, no, we're not support these things. Even the music festival, we're boycotting a Virgin. Because all this herb, they want the cannabis cup is to entertain music festival and them who coming in, and then when they're gone, we got to lock up again. You see? We got to see things right in these times. We can't be playing for our people emotion because you have man here want to continue, but man afraid, man don't want to get locked up. That's his reality. So even when people say, "But that's the man, me glad you lock up, but me sorry still, but Mr. Virgin, me overstand. So me not have nothing to do. Me have time. Me have my own time clock. So let me deal with it. They're not doing nothing, just entertainment this for me. Because I'm the plant technician. I'm the one that's still gonna call at the end of the day, but just keep it business and professional. That's it. I don't have no hatred or anything against people. I mean, I just say I may lock up myself. I take off my own part and take them and walk into the station. I could have walked out the station there and book off some bitches and go along with them. I didn't have to go in the station. I chose to because as the government work and them hire me. So me not have me have nothing to run and hide for. Me not hide for plant herb. You can lock me for 1,000 times over for herb. But you're gonna have to go to court because you infringe on my rights. And that's where I stand. So and what we want to encourage the citizens at the sound of my voice to always record every police interaction. Just let them know you're recorded and it's for their safety and your safety. And that's it. When it's a traffic ticket, record them. Because we have too much rogue police inside the police force. So we have to get them out. Citizens should be feeling safe if they have been stopped by a police and not if the police been. I have heard, Virgin, from this incident. Let me tell you, them. My phone, I can't get a break. You see what I mean? It's just so much. I mean, reporting of this bad policing that is going on and abuse on the citizens' rights. You can't believe it have to be the same reports be going to the police station and nobody taking the man serious because a lot of the report going to the head and it did not get any result. Females being abused by the partners. No accommodation when they call the police. So I hope they're not listening, Because if these things start to change, I'm telling the guys them, we're gonna boycott every government function. So even cultural arm will get boycott. I'm campaigning against everything there is because what Jama went through and what I went through, nobody won you. No youth supposed to lock up on a herb. Because you want to keep cannabis competition. You encourage them to go the weed, but they lock them up. This is what I'm trying to show these police. I mean, it go where the police get harder, you know. That's what I say. Everyone who have anything to do with it, it could be Attorney General and all, wants anything to do with it, I'm asking for the removal of everybody, Virgin. That's just what it is. If the Prime Minister involved, you have to step down too. If the female involved, it goes to you too. If I work evilly, because when people infringe on our rights, I got kind of thing to do. So none, all of us are equal. So remember, you know, me can't be silenced. That's rule number one. Me not call nobody up there for no work. Because my job is to farm and plant food. I say, what I go on? Me not tap plant food because I don't know what I'm going to come. I would never tap. So what I going to do is say gas going up at $20 and reach. Diesel you reach 30 soon. Okay? Me not stop plant food, Virgin. Because money can't eat. But what is most important is the citizens' rights of navies. Want to say thanks again to DJ Maui Show for helping me out starting out this the date for the march. The date is out put in place. So the odds are the march supposed to come out, but it will be the 10th of April. We're going to march against injustice. We're going to show the system. We not tolerate this thing, yeah? And by the march, I not just march for me, you know. I march for you ourselves because we all go through this thing here together. We'll get harassed for traffic ticket. We'll get harassed for all these things. Go ahead, Doc.
So Bankie, you're gonna ask the police for permission to march against them?
But the date done there. The date done book. Of course, you march against them. March against everybody who
I'll come back to that. I want to punctuate what Sankofa said earlier, because this is why I was giving me flowers. That's always been our interaction, that I could go at him hard and he could come back at me hard. And there's no ill will, because he put me in my place just now and he's absolutely correct. Because there's one thing 2026 has started, is that two truths coexist at the same time. So I'm glad that we pulled me up, because even though I might have a perspective of making an issue of something, it doesn't make it an issue for somebody else or for Sankofa. And at the same time, he also highlighted earlier where St. Kitts is a very small place. Our human resource is our limiting factor. So a lot of times I get passionate and might want to go hard, and he may not have the need for that. But at the same time, I'm sovereign enough to say I will deal with the repercussions. But he's absolutely correct. And Sankofa, you know, I wish you all the best. And I could appreciate, and I really love that perspective and how you're approaching this. And at some point in the future, I'm not enough to do the same. But for now, no. But I think it's very commendable. And that's the duality of life in which we live. Because the same thing I said at the very beginning of this program, that I am very happy that this has happened to us, and very sad that it has happened. Happy it has happened because we've spoken about this, and I said it already on the show too. I think Bankie is doing more than his quota, more than his share, going way and above and beyond, serving as the example, and I think that's all he needs to do. So, because even when he say he's going to boycott, we have to farm those lobby groups that could really impact economically anybody that we are boycotting. Otherwise, it really going to just be a signal, a sign. Because again, we see what's going on with the Destiny, that you have action divisions and a marketing ad saying that this is the best thing to happen to them, or will be the best thing to happen to them. So at the same time, just like I gave the example of Marisha, there are persons who are smokers who still feel that we should be hiding, who feel this is the greatest thing to have ever happened, and what Bankie and Garfield making noise about. You could get 5 to go into music festival, and you could go out in the back of your yard, because a lot of the sovereignty and the ownership that we see as normal, people see as an infringement. Are you being too loud? Are you wanting too much? Or that you had too much? And the people that have these feelings and are expressing these feelings to us, the enemy,
and,
Because I
and
could
that is
remember,
why
and again, I want to show the duality. Because Tishan is who reminded me of what Sankofa again said to me again today. Because he was highlighting to me, Doc, I really think that you needed to be the CEO at that point. Because he said to me, I don't think anybody else would have handled Sankofa them like that. Because of the type of battles and conversation we had. And many times I had to remind Sankofa and the groups, hey, just the other day I was in that same vanguard fighting with you guys. So anything I'm saying now, I don't want you to take it as an offense or that I'm coming hard. But a lot of the things that the groups were lobbying for, I don't think Rastafari has to lobby for that. Because the same, we have buggery laws here that were enforced and ripped off the books because people said they were archaic. But there was nobody lobbying for them to be removed. And I don't have any case throughout our history where we found two men and decided we're going to, or the police grabbed two men and decided that they're going to charge them for buggery. So how is it that we have a lot of, everybody says great, negotiated this cannabis law, and we're having all these trips along? There is no political will, despite what they're saying. And that is a hard conversation.
And that is why Sankofa, I think that it's important that we look at it from the constitutional standpoint and always point out that constitutional right that we have. And that is one of the things that Sankofa case really would have brought to light. There's a comment from Real Entertainment Network which kind of speaks to that. It says, the Constitution gives freedom of religion. Freedom of religion includes religious practices and sacraments. For Rastafari, cannabis is a religious sacrament that is utilized by some as a sacrament. And it is recognized by the Constitution or by the government as a sacrament. So if the government requires Rastafari to register before practicing their religion, then the government is interfering with freedom of religion. The Constitution gives right. It doesn't say you must register to use your rights. If you must register to use your right, then it is not a right. It is a permission. And that is one of the things that I'm seeing happening. They have taken our rights.
Then the act say, Yahsonn, then the act say you may register, you never say must, you know, or shall, you know. The Rastafari act say
that's the issue right there, Bankie. And as Rastafari brethren and sisters and children, we can't be operating in the legalese or trying to make sense of the mosaic of the law. We are supposed to be having discussions and within ourselves. How do we operate schools? How do we arrive? How do we arrive and arise spiritually? Then negotiating after we come to our conclusions, negotiating with them with their law. But we can't be amongst ourselves trying to understand the legalese. We are delaying ourselves.
Yes.
Because again, I can put the picture this way. Before the law even came up with the Dangerous Drugs Act, which ended up being the Drugs Act and that we're all working on now, this plant existed. And outside of even Rastafari, Baldhead, the persons that gave us ganja, the Indians, were practicing and using this plant. So I'm saying anything that was invented after that is a law. It's a perspective, it's a lens through which we watch the plant, but it's not real. And we are focusing too much on the unrealness and the guiltiness of the plant. And the plant is innocent. Because again, somebody knows. Why we're not talking about moving tomatoes? Cassava is poisonous. Nobody needs to be licensed to make cassava bread. We have so much other dangerous plants, so much other poisonous plants. And we're not exercising these rules. But again, even the rules that they place on this plant, they're not only unreal, they endanger the lives of other persons because the police will come to your house, kick off your door that you didn't even put on, put you into the court of law in a language called legalese that you don't understand, where it has to be interpreted by 2-3 different other persons, complicate your life over a plant. And all of us are going to stand by and speak of the law and entitlement and can't see the wrong in that, can't see the inherent fault in that. I'm saying no, Rastafari has no no time, no space to be in those arguments. No,
And that is
Yeah,
what
because we don't.
and that is what the Constitution showed.
There's no functioning Rastafari farm. So why are we having negotiations and fighting over a plant that we're going to smoke anyway?
Yeah, because you see the thing about this thing here, the cannabis competition.
Functioning Rastafari farm. Gideon Force do things what you say.
My bad.
But stop with that. And then they still got Bankie do it. Sparks. Potential. That can the man as an Fire King. I now move on.
No. That was a test. That was a test to see if you were listening.
No,
my thing, guys.
I know. What about the
I
other
just
man?
was by Gideon
yesterday.
I had lunch by Gideon yesterday. I just had lunch by Gideon yesterday.
Okay.
No, but guys,
yes, we're doing.
We were forward. Do way forward.
I'm
really.
Like, that's why I was highlighting Sankofa, that the focus needs to be not just having functional, that they're rotating, that they're expanding, that they become universities. Because me and Tishan talk about it all the time, where Gideon Force is supposed to be a university, not just a university of agriculture alone, about holistic living and spiritual living. Because there's a church called there as well. It's the most complete sense of what we have. Because remember, I was the one arguing that there should be the first licensing. I was the one arguing that should be that toll should be coming. That should be one of our premier spots to welcome the world, and not just talking about tourism, talking about even as you come back home as a Kitishan. That's organic living. So rather than focusing boycotting, we need to focus on what we need to build and rebuild and enforce.
I think Rastafari come a long way in the sense of entities. Like, for example, OIU is a strong entity as well, too. And they have a lot of Rasta that will come forward. And yeah, we ain't doing so good in the farming part as yet, but we're putting down trees. And that's important. You see it? So that when the timing come right. So you're going to see now, with all them farm, I just tell you, plus them man farm, plus them Bankie them farm, plus Nevis other man them, IY them farm in Nevis. You see that Rasta is not like in our days when we had these small little jibs and just do a certain small farming, we do some bigger type of farming. So we are help to feed the people them in the community. That Rasta do things. And we just need to expand on it. Be more organized in certain ways.
I'm not saying
as you said, this whole thing.
I'm speaking about prioritization and focusing. Because again, when Bankie sent me the poster, one of the first thing I talk about was reorganizing and decentralizing. Because that's where you spoke to the different farms only. Like, it's not about a central sugar factory like what we got, because it's not a monocrop.
Mm-hmm. Let me say this again. This situation got to be resolved. The infringement of my rights and Jama rights, whatever government activity is coming up, I'm a professional person. And this got to get sorted out. Because they went through a lot of energy to say they want to lock me up and embarrass Jama and ill-treat man rights. Me not care where they be. You understand? They need to be sorted out. It could be Mango Festival, it could be Culturama, it could be next week agriculture open day, boycotting. So may operate. People got to understand how it is. I ain't trouble nobody in a virgin. I them chose to trouble me. Me not got nothing to do. Me pa me own terminal. And me not part of no group, and me cannot be silenced. Understand that. Okay? Period. And put many more period behind that. Me hold my ground. So let Wilkin, Shane, every officer and every hierarchy who have anything to do with my infringement of my rights, let them know this is what it is. We're going to the streets April 10th. Next week, Thursday and Friday, go and support Jama. If you all want to come at Manso's last stop and support, get some green banana, some plantain, some banana, you all choice. But my thing is, support Jama next week, Thursday and Friday. Cannabis competition, nobody enter that. They got to come out and apologize and make sure for the rest of the year moving forward till the start of them thing, no moratorium in place. Let the premier come out and man up and talk and start out here with a red letter. You're on Nevis. That's what it's all about. Because you can't tell me influencers running the country and influence local people to talk about a billionaires who got money, who want build a whole city, and me gonna come as a poor man and do advertisement for free, like a fool, to push these millionaires and billionaires we promote. They're not getting no pay. These people had no go there. And they know nothing about the project, but they must support it. Madness that. How you come to me, I must speak good about a project, and you not even see the man in front of you face to face who still have a conversation, but you're forced because somebody tell you, man, it look good. Come on, that's crap. Can't people be using the virgin for free? But madness is that. How the hell, and everybody vexed me over a ticket, over raffling one chick as $10, and then you're being bribed. Well, how come I not get money for free from Jensen? The Prime Minister must sign up, otherwise nobody get the money. This thing is not good. We live in a society that full of a lot of evil and bad frequencies. My frequency on a total different level, you know. So they could bring it on. So for one thing, me know, Jama must be compensated when Jama done with Jama. So supposed to just let up on the farm and roll left and right and roll back and job sleep if nothing sell you all right. Because the man don't put in the time. The man don't serve the government agricultural sector for years. And Wednesday night, what bothered me, you know, I watched the premiere show and watched the director of agriculture and Eric Evelyn. And I watching them full in the face to see if the man going to utter some words of strength to Jama. Because they not letting no Jama get locked up and abuse. And they never utter a word. What a people. Jama work in the industry of agriculture for over 40 plus years. And they not utter a word. Whether they don't like weed or not, weed have nothing to do. Virgin, if a man get locked up for 1,000 pounds of weed, you can't infringe on the rights still. The man have to be proven innocent, guilty. Everybody's innocent and proven guilty, you know. That is what these laws said. So how you're not going to have the girls to say. But they're going to reach by Jama and want Jama vote and Jama family vote. They're not take but a part there. You see? The ministers and themselves should be marching for Jama as an elder. You see? Because you would start with Jama and end up with their family, you know. Because these are some rogue police. And me not play the rogue police, you know. So let them know when they see my vehicle passing, move out the way. Don't even flag it down. Even if they got a number plate, don't stop me. Yeah, don't even stop me. Just move. Because you know my record are you. Just move up my way. Period. Anyone who have any influence with this thing here, let it be known. So the DPP, whoever need to do it, let them know stop me because I not stop, you know. Me not stop because I don't harass me and infringe on my rights. It not happen again. So they put out your hand. Okay? Cannot matter. Can me not stop. Any one of those who had anything to do with my right. Wilkins, Sheehan, Robertson, Olivier. Nobody with it, you know? Nobody with it. Can me not stop. Can me not mind locking. We'll take 100 lock up. Because first rule number one, I don't infringe on my rights. And me not trust you. So that's the way it is. So, Yahsonn, anything you want to say?
Well, you know, we're at the point where we done eat up the 2 hours. So we're going to get to the final wrap up and comments. But before we do that, I got a notice here that all persons interested in the cannabis industry are invited to a very important meeting on Saturday, 21st March at 6 p.m. The meeting will be held at Natural Liberty Farm opposite the Newcastle Pottery. So anybody who is interested in the cannabis industry, you're invited to a very important meeting on Saturday, 21st March at 6 p.m. The meeting will be held at Natural Liberty Farm opposite the Newcastle Pottery. So that's a notice that I'm dropping in here. I'm really grateful for the guests to be here on the platform. I think, you know, listening and paying attention to some of the comments. I want to also apologize to a lot of the folks on the wall. Tonight was a busy night, and the conversations, well, we don't have a conversation, we have two conversations because we ain't canning anybody. But, I mean, the reasoning was real upful, and so we really were more into the reason. We didn't get a chance to go through all of these comments, but there was a lot of comments as well, too. But we want to thank you for, you know, paying attention and being a part of the program. Without you guys, you know, we would have just been here talking to ourselves. But your comments and your feedback and all that, we definitely are grateful for that. And for those of you who would have taken heed and gone over to the YouTube platform and subscribe to the platform, we thank you very much, and we want to also encourage you to do that. If you're still here and you're still with us, at least go on over to the YouTube platform, subscribe to the platform, become a member, and click on the notification bell. Dr. Garfield Alexander, based on the comments and feedback also on the wall, it seems as if that we're going to have you back by yourself to give you a show. It seems as if the people, based on what you were uttering and the reasoning, the people want you to come back to have a show for yourself. So we're going to have to...
No, Yahsonn, let me interject. No, let me manifestation deal with this thing, yeah. Can we tell him frequency on a different level, you know? Don't let him know. The space is there for him to have a show here, you know. It's just he have to put the thing in order and set it. This done hard, you know. So it's just the people just manifesting what I don't put in place. So he don't know what time it is. He just have to choose a day, whichever, and then have a full show for himself and create it. So it's up to him. You see me? That done in place already, you know. So he don't know what time it is. Yeah, man. So people look out forward for something for Dr. Garfield Alexander own show right here in Real Entertainment. Just put it out there. And he just want him to connect anytime you want to. That easy thing. You see me? So, but that is your wrap up. Just want to put that inside there. Go ahead, Yahsonn.
As the young people would say no more. All right?
Yes, sir.
Sankofa, as usual, you know, you want to play it down and so, but you're the pioneer. I mean, yes, Frankie would have had the initial case in Antigua, but right now it's your case that is used as the precedence. And as a result, especially with this topic, we are really grateful to have you. You're like a hero for us at this point. And so it's really, really critical that we have you and we could hear your views and your opinions. And I think both you and the doc together this evening were really a good combination. And it highlights what you and the doc is doing ain't nothing new. Because the people who listen to Bankie and myself would know that that's how we are. We disagree the same way. I mean, me and Bankie don't agree on everything. We don't disagree right and the ear the same way. But at the end of the day, me and Bankie bridging, tomorrow or whenever we going to reason the same way, nothing changed. But we have a little exchange. And that's one of the things that we try to teach as well. To show people that we could disagree without having any animosity. And that's what reasoning is all about. I grew up with the elders and reasoning, and that's how it used to be. I used to be in heated Rastafari reasoning and so on. A man holding on to his point, and by the next reasoning, you know, he might go home and do some research, and he go come back and say, bye. You know, I mean, I was saying that last night, you know, but I did some research and blah, blah, blah. And that's how it is, because that's how we strengthen one another. As Garfield said, iron sharpeneth iron, and that's just how it was. And that's how I know growing up. So, give thanks. I mean, I know I might have been long-winded with it, but I just think I needed also to put that out there, that I think the people, based on the feedback, based on the comments, and myself listening to the reasoning, I'm really grateful that you guys took the opportunity to be our guest this evening and to be on the platform. So I'll give both Garfield and Sankofa, and I guess you have to figure out, because I can leave you all like that too, which one will go first in terms of the wrapping up. And and then we close it up this evening. So whichever one. You might mute it, Doctor. Two of you might mute it. You see what going on here? The two of them might mute it.
You see, look, man. Let me come in now, man.
Let me go first.
Come in now and tell you.
Okay.
You remember when I used to eat food and come out? That's the first time I could remember. And then before that, you used to play basketball, you know. So, you know, we go way back, you know. You see it? So, I'm going to try to put nobody in front of you. And at the same time, you know, did that go way back too? With I and I still with a lot of things too. You see it? Correct. So, we still It's a politician, you know that they're straight up. That's just the reality. But at the same time, if somebody, you know somebody personally, why should you show here to them because they get a greater position in a life? Me not defend that neither. So me just a live life. You see, these things were happening to me is not just because of Jew neither. Emperor. An emperor has set these energies because these are things we reason together. These are things I ask him for, and these are blessings here we stop on me because the man who could do these things for I and I choose to do these things for I is Jew and probably some of them because the man they still to me, even though the man a politician, the man come from the struggle. So they will have some knowledge of that. Me not say it's so for everybody. I mean not try defend a politician either. But as a reality, me and the youth they meet in Jamaica and the youth not even had much. You see what I say? The same youth there who on top right now. We just talk things. And we spend this night in a room until morning we talk geopolitics. I knew from there that Joe would have been a leader in St. Kitts. But if I tell anybody that, they would not believe. You see it? And this was when we still young enough. You see it? So, me ain't gonna act like me not know Joe them. Me no Dr. Joe. I also know some of them. We and some of them used to always go to these gigs, as they would call them, where we do poetry. I had that kind of program. Yeah, in these big areas and all these fancy places and some regular places too, some regular places. And we enjoy a moment. And we were always on the lineup. So it's not to say these are strangers for me. I ain't gonna pretend that either. I'm not gonna pretend that. You see, these are people I know for a long time. You see? But I don't run down politics. I don't vote, and I'm not gonna vote. I don't deal with certain things. I don't go a lot of places. But I'm gonna go Africa when I get the opportunity and a free flight. Father just bless me on the flight, and I happy for that. You see what me I say? And me like them and they in a sense because them and they still a look for ghetto youths. You see it? Them and I still look for ghetto youths. There's no way with Timothy them. Let's be plain. With party man from in the village going anyway, much less Africa. You see what me I say? So why them didn't get to go the last time? So the woman wanted why them down the car when she come on stage, she like how them man they don't play because she come sing, she see them man play and she want them there. Big contingent of drummers. What me call that about them there? They got a lot of other people that go.
We don't know how on the flight. The man was just making a joke this evening. We don't know who's on we don't have the itinerary. We just was a comment. But I tell you, it's not that seriously, Virgin. You got to explain yourself to nobody. You see me?
I give thanks for the opportunity because I didn't want me down there more than anybody.
I overstand. But you don't have to explain yourself to the public.
And she foundation, that lady there is real. We need her to invest in a state. And if I get that work accomplished, I will feel nice. Because I always try to help a lot of people in Africa. So and there's other things having an investment summit. They're also having some other agricultural and fisheries. That's how Shoila get involved. Them and into fisheries. Yeah, so into the arts. That they're also having a one to arts person. And the only arts man going down with music, singing neither. I sure other man going to be as well. So, you know, we give thanks for the opportunity.
Hold on. No, wait, just no.
Yeah, but differently than that now, and a different note with the herb part, right? With the herb part, I cannot forget the role that ORU play. The role that ORU play is a very important role, and sometimes I feel like we don't neglect that reasoning. Because I am part of ORU, and from that time ORU was existing. And they introduced me to the brethren in Nevis, who end up after I send him all my information, he format it and he sent it in. The lawyer there.
Patches Nisbet, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Of
we
course.
give
Big up
thanks for all
Patches.
them starting too. So a lot of these things starting and Nevis technically, you know. So we give thanks for the Nevis aspect and we still give thanks for the SK. And for what my case accomplished, we reached to a level. But there's other levels to be on. Right now in Kenya, I send them some information concerning the matter. And they already had a case in going on there because I said as a clip in the ORU chat too as well. So there's a lot of works ORU doing. And I think Rasta have to consider the whole unity because for us to ever build a school, it has to be a unified effort. It can't be no one-man thing. Otherwise, I would have done it with my children them. You know, the reality, we got good schools, so I don't really still see the full need. But I understand why you would have indigenous schools because the ideology, what them are pushing at school now, it's changing
Of
now.
course.
It getting more westernized. So if we could have some kind of energy like that, but that while you ain't going up on the top of Gideon. Go up on the top of Gideon. That's all I got to say, Doc. We are work on them things that you talk about, Doc. Trust me. The energy is real. You have to take agriculture to a next level and it only could be that. Education. You see it? So hopefully we could give people work. You know? But who gonna fund these things? Not the same man them. Now we begging them because nobody else would want to do it. There's a time and a place for everything, right? And when a man have a time and a season, if he don't take it, he end up going to get nothing out of life because the time in a technical time done gone. That's why we have generations of people and the youth them coming up after us, bringing a higher level, another level, and other people even in the same generation because everything go by turn. One man can't define a whole nation. You have to be the people them rise up and many of us come together and make it happen. That's what everybody does. That's what the politicians them do. You see? Eight and cheer them come together and then they work out a thing and then these
I have to get your own personal shot too, you know. I have to get your own personal shot too, so don't say that'll be the future, give you your own shot.
No, me no want no show. Me can't take too much talking even though I like it. I can't take it. Because sometimes we don't get in a lot of trouble and we can't take them, but probably we don't 53, we want to live good with me youths and just got your life. I mean, not to say man ain't no revolutionary, but man don't see a lot of hypocrisy too. Look at what happened to Zambo them. Look at what happened to a lot of we leaders them. And we are pull the trigger them people them that they know. I pull the trigger upon them man. They ain't to say like no white man come in and bust down them man the head. You see what I say? It's a rough life. It's a rough life. So man have youths.
That is why we say I think what Bankie was saying, not necessarily like a full show, but like get you back so we could have deeper conversation.
Yeah, but plus he can have a show for himself. We talk about anything, gardening, whatever he chooses. So I can't think what kind of show to have. It's just a show.
People got me one show too, you know, Bankie.
Well, yeah, you have your own show on real entertainment, of course. You have a lot to speak about it. You're educator. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I
was thinking about one show.
We're filling up, so we're gonna give Garfield a chance now to wrap up, and then we try to close off. We're already on overtime, and so we're just gonna try and close off.
Yeah, I got big up, trust me, them, you know, because I can't go twice. I know big up them and they, you know, them and watch me for the year. Trust me. Facts. Presidente. You know, big up yourself. Big up Fire King, who is actually my cousin, and I'm very proud of him. Ras Fire King from Sparks too. Them man they spend some levels if I go check them man farm. You know, they tend to ease into the fully organic energy and everything on bless because it's how you end up, not how you start. You see it, and then boom, you got Dr. Man, the real scientist, the real bring the herb to the high level. You see it? So we are two things. things are right in a SK when it come to home. In a kind of reality, ain't too much pressure from Babylon. And I hope that things change in a Nevis. Brantley got to, somebody gonna got to take down Brantley in the sense of that moving from the office, if that gonna be the case, because at the end of the day, if he gonna want to lose a seat over Hub, he got to be an idiot. You know, no disrespect to the minister still, but he got to just respect the home and make a settlement with you. 100,000 Bankie, take it for the 5 trees or the 11 trees and give the partner I walk out of bats. Sometimes it's better to make a deal, you know, because at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, when you go to the system, is because the deal could include what you want constitutionally changed to. The deal can include that. So it's not to say you're selling out. You see it? The deal can include what you want to happen constitutionally. It's just the Attorney General to say something proper and get involved. Or you could go the other way and do the other thing and you still could win your case. It's just your choice, Bankie, and me not have much to say about that there still. I just want to bless you with whatever you decide. Choice, but there's those 2 options there. Doc, sorry to take up on your time.
So you need your show, right? So I got your own personal show. You realize the Sankofa show. Well,
as much as you think I like the fame thing, me not suppress. I do it because of you and me know you. I don't be parade. Only when I go and have an event, I go parade you. It got to be a calling, you know, a mission. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Garfield.
Yeah. Again, Sankofa has a way of proving me right, even when we battle. Because again, you see the wholesomeness of him. Because he reminded us of Antigua and in my travels in trying to educate myself about the plant and cannabis from the Caribbean perspective. One of the things I gleaned most was Antigua was very pivotal. Like outside of Jamaica, where people now see St. Vincent, but outside of Jamaica, it was always Antigua as a place where a Rasta man could go and free up. Where a Rasta man could go and now he could find other Rasta men and be welcoming. So even when I got there and see the inroads they've made, because they've already had a cannabis cup, I sat in the CEO's office on the air condition, smoking weed, myself, the consultant Marshall Emmanuel, the CEO, the director of agriculture, and Professor Knife. And Professor Knife, well, Marshall I saw on TikTok, but Professor Knife was one of the person I'd never met. I'd seen thousands of videos from him. I've always been impressed by him. To sit down and test weed, test ganja. Like, so even sometimes, and Sankofa just reminded me of that, because sometimes when I'm in the fight or when I'm in the battle, I feel like we haven't accomplished anything, but we've accomplished so much. Because again, I was there as the CEO of St. Kitts in the CEO's office, and nobody could have break down the door. And we were judges of the cannabis cup, smoking the best weed that Antigua has to offer, testing it on a very advanced machine and finding out what the THC, what's the CBD. That's what we were doing as young men. And again, I have to take my hat off to Sankofa, because again, I could have never been CEO if it wasn't for Terrence Joe. And medical cannabis would have never been in agriculture if it wasn't for Sam Alka. He was very welcoming to that. And tonight, we had a great intervention from the PS. So again, he reminded me in the passion time, I have to look how I swing my machete, because again, we have such a small bit of human resource. It doesn't mean that I won't burn a fire, but he has, you know what I mean, he has centered me a little bit. But again, he has reminded me, Antigua helped the entire Caribbean. Because again, when the weed was moving from St. Vincent coming first, it wasn't first coming to St. Kitts, it was primarily really Antigua. So, and if I didn't do those travels, I wouldn't see ganja and the persons who operate in the world of ganja as people, because now how we're recognizing the law. And this has nothing to do with just our government. All the administrations across all the islands, they somehow want to exclude or have forgotten Not just the traditional farmers, but the persons who were operating as if this plant was never criminal. Even before they decriminalize it, that demographic is being forgotten. They have no say. So we have the persons who are advancing legalese, persons in power, the businessmen leading the conversations. Again, that's what I say. Rasta need not be in those conversations. Don't feel left out, because you've always been left out. And even when you're included, you're going to be left out. Because a Rasta business is totally different to a business within the paradigm and the definitions of everybody else. Sankofa Bankie exemplifies it. I've moved with these men. Food first, as much as there's ganja man and Rasta man, is food first. And primarily on the minds is how can I provide organic food to the people, to the nation? How could I ensure food security? And this is long before 2025, it was long before anything else. I'm going to go back to Sankofa again. The reason why me and Sankofa are talking today is because even before I knew him, I saw aspects of him that told me this is a meaningful man and this is a measured man. So even before I know him, I see how we operated with the others of his ilk and the men from the boys from the Bay. He does something that is very particular to upful men. They treat everybody as humans. He had a humaneness about him. That's why I absolutely love Terence Tutu. He had that humaneness about him as a teacher when we went when we were together in Cuba. But this can make me forget what is being done. Because sometimes I operate in rooms and people are telling me, this and such person's a nice kind of nice and nice and nice. But what about the policies? These policies will live long after us. So again, we have this way in St. Kitts of checking receipts. We're good at checking receipts, but we're not very good at checking the accounts. And I'm more focusing on the accounts and not the receipts. So I could see how two truths could operate in the same role and in the same moment. That yeah, some of these guys are great guys and they've done great things, but what are they doing now that will benefit this generation and more generations to come? Because they are in very key positions where they could impact the future. Just like how you standing up as a sovereign man, not thinking of what the greater virtues would have done, has impacted the world. So the way I'm bigging you up is the same way I'm supposed to feel it in my bones when I see these guys doing what they're doing. Because again, two truths could operate at the same time. This trip could be meaningful for many persons going on this journey. But again, I get back to the two words I've been using all the time. It's priority. At the end of the day, we are men and we are women dependent on our decision making. So what Sankofa reminded me of is the same thing. I tell you, I was by Gideon Force. Me and Tishan were talking. Tishan and I were in first farm, second farm, all the way up to fifth farm together. We did agricultural science for the first time in first farm with the Prime Minister too. So he and I have these conversations. And he would talk to me just the way you're talking to me now. And he reminded me of something fundamental. He reminded me just what I said, that if it wasn't for Terence, certain persons wouldn't be into key positions. So that is true. But that doesn't hold him beyond reproach. That doesn't hold him beyond judgment. But I could definitely agree with him. Because again, I was appointed CEO in his office by him. And that would have never happened. The same, or it could have never happened on Timothy. But at the same time, I was also a part of the commission that was appointed by Timothy. And that commission was, the chair was placed as the CMO, Dr. Lars. And all these were hallmark decisions. Because even who the previous administration hired to draft the bill, even if it was copy or paste from St. Vincent and he had the shortcomings, it was fundamental and sound, and I saw all the minutes of all the whole meetings. And Tishan reminded me of that, allowed me to recognize that even when people are doing bad, the duality of life, that there's always some good in it. Because I think when Timothy was never for cannabis, but whether any wisdom, the decision was taken to appoint a commission. We went across both nations So when I hear people talking about saying some of the things they were saying, I know that was fundamentally sound because I was a part of it. I interacted with Sankofa, I interacted with Nevis, I interacted with all the doctors. More than what they've done for Destiny. That was done for Cannabis. Before. The first time I saw Matt Brantley in person in his cabinet was in a Cannabis meeting. We were invited to present to cabinet. And again...
Doc, I didn't want to interrupt you again, but it was that commission report that helped me win that case, because there was a particular thing that the CMO they put in there that I was able to use in one of my affidavit, my last affidavit. I remember when he said he don't want he put a moratorium and then he put no case could have charged in a court at that time there based on what was going on. And then he tell them, no, he said, stop the case there and then just, he tell them to go and check to see what they were, what was going on. Like, and the CMO put something in the commission report that was able to use concerning the herb, right? And for me to win part of my case directly. You see it? And that recommendation, they remember he stopped the case and allowed for the CMO to put forward the commission. And that commission was a truthful commission because I was representing in all parts of every time they had a meeting, there was a couple of Rasta was there. Because only one meeting I missed. And all of them was there at that meeting to represent CMS still. So there was always consultation, and I have to big up the commission still.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that because, again, if she wasn't appointed as I don't think anybody here had that capacity, that ethical standard. And again, she was coming from Jamaica. She was at UE. So she was steadfast and sound all throughout in the structuring of that. And making, again, because it was medically leaning, for making it medically sound. And these are things that cannot, unless you were part of it, you wouldn't have been able to see it, because I've heard all manner of evil said about the woman with regards to this. And I heard person say that nobody did the studies. Again, Sankofa was able to use that in court because that was specific, that was idiosyncratic to St. Kitts. Because again, our report could nowhere compare to the report of CARICOM, the waiting to exhale document. That was fundamentally sound. That should have answered all the questions across all governments. But again, if that commission wasn't appointed and made something specific to St. Kitts, it wouldn't have impacted your trial as it did.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to sound in on your point about before we get back to Bankie, about the duality of life. And with small human resource, but a small human resource doesn't mean that we have to have the greatest capacity to forgive and look past. It means we have to be fundamental sound in our decision making, because what we do can impact more generations. This isn't America where there's a section of society that has 1 million. Yeah.
Yeah, give thanks. And I think the even in the wrap up, a lot of gems were passed on. I think we would have had a lot of comments this evening, and I really want to apologize to the folks for not being able to go through all of the comments. I want to be able to apologize to some of the callers who probably were trying and did not get in as well. I really want to thank the guests again, Sankofa and Garfield Alexander. And we do have an open door policy to welcome you guys back anytime to follow up on this conversation and this topic. Bankie, you're closing, yes. and we wrap up for this evening.
Yahsonn, I want to thank the callers and those who try to call in, but we're going to make it up for them next week, Tuesday. We're going to have a show especially for the callers, for they can call in and share their voice, their views and opinion about this situation with Jama and myself. So they'll have callers, you'll have a show dedicated especially for you guys, Yahsonn and myself. Don't think I'll have a guest. The show dedicated to you guys to voice your opinion, your outrage of what's going on and the support. So I want to thank the whole international world and region. I mean, I don't have Facebook, but got a lot of texts and some, I guess, copy and paste sent to me and stuff. So I really appreciate the overwhelming support from the general public here in St. Kitts Nevis and regionally and international all over. Some people don't even know, so I really appreciate it. It's not about me. It's about Jama and every citizen whose right has been infringed of and can every day, daily. So we really have to change this. So we're going to march, we're going to protest. I will say next week, Thursday and Friday, support Jama. Because I don't see how the agriculture department want me destroy my plants not to be inside of allow that to happen, and then they still calling me, want me to take part in the same and have a cannabis display. Come like I have to let my 6-year-old daughter get some crayon and drop on a paper and nail a staple them on a piece of stick and put them in a pot, and that's my cannabis display. Because by telling me that, it means you don't want me to be inside the park. If you don't want to have no trees, as a professional person, I have to have displays and real life stuff that I can show, so you can't tell me you want me to work with books and literature. That's just not and other stuff to display. That don't make any sense without the live tree itself. So, and that was not the original deal what I paid for either. So I'm just saying out to those in authority, and up to now, I want to see how long it's going to take for anyone within the government or the NIA to reach out to Jama and to see how it was cheated, because this is really, really sad in my virgin. This is really, really sad. I passed by Jama today, and he in his style, and I said, Jama, hold his faith, because we got you. We're going to go to the fight together. And the man must be compensated. All who put Jama mugshot out there, my mugshot out there, got to go and apologize for these things. I will not stop. I will not stop, virgin. So I come to disturb me and understand, once you disturb me, I decide when it stop. Nobody gonna handle in this, because I'm not a part of anything. Because all I do is make my contribution to the society. Because you all have my picture all up on the budget address in Nevis, and all up on everything, my picture is all over, and I never get a 1 cent or complaint. So is you all put me out there. You see what I mean? And still get you, I don't call people. You see what I mean? So if I'm that type of person when it comes to ethics, because I've already booked to go to St. Bart's in advance to have an activity to promote Nevis, because I know my capabilities. They already come to my farm to have
Pani mugshot,
right? Wait. I'll give you one show, man. Take it easy. Take over the mugshot. And
they put a crown on you, so they call you king. Even in the mugshot, they call you king, You don't even realize that, If you watch the mugshot, I think somebody make a thing to it at the Ohio chat, And I realize it, They put you right under the guy come on your head, So
you get universe, wherever it is, In the business about that. That minor matters. But the reality is, what I'm saying here, if I'm this type of person, yet the whole tourism department came at my farm because I want to keep one of the activities this Friday at my farm. I just had a retreat there at my farm with some people from England about holistic health and learn about composting and plant some seed and make a manifestation and stuff like that. Did on my farm. And the system, all of those who had a part to play, they know this. They know this is what I do. That's all I do. Educate in different aspects, whatever it is. This is all I do. So whoever had this come out, so as I said again, can I keep beating this drum, so the drum not going to stop. I hope they understand that. Come up on my own clock. I don't invest my time within the administration here. So I hope they understand. But Sankofa, as I say, I want to thank you again for coming on this show. And Doc, enough respect every time, maximum respect. Big up the farmer PS Miguel Flem for calling and making his contribution. Remember, the March is the 10th. And remember, tomorrow at Mansell's last stop, Shabazaga next, you get your car meal and fish. The best whole meal, soulful food in the house. At Cades Bay, you get your whatever you want. You come out, check it out, and get your food. Best place to chill, best view in the house. Sankofa people pressing me all the time want to know if you're playing both sides, So this is your last say, but your last say can't pass a minute. You have to say that and wrap up in 1 minute. You hear me? The one if you're playing both sides. So let me take off your mic, make it in 30 seconds, because you make pause. You make pause still, virgin.
You might muted.
I say only one side, me know. Me not got no other
Which one?
side, Bankie. Only
Mr. Ask not
Rastafari
me.
me a deal with. Remember,
All
His
right,
Majesty
good.
was the best jest. His Majesty was the
Good.
most traveled emperor. His Majesty
All right.
was the most, and when me go, His Majesty word some me a read. So if I want
Good.
blame me, I gotta blame the king. Because when
Just
me
say
go,
no.
me don't
Is yes or
pretend like
no?
nobody else. I got to
Keep
explain it. So me a walk with the
keep it
king in a
simple.
me. In a
All right. So
me.
that mean no then.
For
Now switch.
sure.
All right.
All
Well, just say
right.
no,
Yeah.
man.
So
You can't,
people,
no, I
I'll
can't
get used to it.
explain. I explain enough.
All
As
right.
every time these things happen and I get a blessing, suppose now I go pan music fest and me never go pan music fest and I just decide I go pan music fest and I get pan music fest. Another set of reasoning there too. That's the
man, don't
thing.
worry
We
about that,
always do
man.
that to one another.
Pray
Is like,
about
and I
that.
would
I
have
don't
never,
know. Pray about that.
Man, don't worry.
I
30
just
seconds on
let
gone.
you know. It could
30
be
seconds on
anything.
gone. And I'm going to get your own show. You have to get your own show, Bridging. Because if you keep on
Don't worry
here
about
talking, you have
You
to
are
get your own.
the people. The people, them,
People, enough respect, support
my love,
Jama,
People, listen.
because
Here's what.
my
support
love.
because,
We have almost gone 3 hours,
yeah.
right? And
Yes, so
what I
let me
must
come
say
off now.
is that when I looked at the screens, both on
Then
the
I move.
YouTube platform and on the Facebook platform, the people still ain't move. All who are there still here. What it means
We
is that
appreciate
we're
that.
having
Yes.
an engaging discussion and the people are loving it. And so I really want to thank all of you, and I really want to thank the Real Entertainment Network team, because Ira and the other guys, they could have been doing all kind of things on a Friday evening, but he's here behind the scenes doing what he's doing, and all the others, Alan, Reese, and all the others who do what they have to do. Enough respect to everybody, and we want to thank all of you for the dedication and the time. A lot of people don't realize that this is an international show, in the sense that we are here in Nevis, Sankofa and the doc is in St. Kitts, and Ira and the other members of the team are all the way in the US. And so, but we make it happen. As we wrap up, I want to just say, all persons interested in the cannabis industry are invited to a very important meeting tomorrow, Saturday, 21st March at 6 p.m. The meeting will be at Natural Liberty Farm opposite the Newcastle Patry. So that is, the last notice I want to read for you guys. Enough respect, everybody. Guidance. See you guys next week, Tuesday.
Much love.
Monday for another edition of Quality Time with Alan. And then on Tuesday, we have another edition of Detopiks on Real Entertainment Network.
We have the Tuesday will be about the people where they can make the contribution. So it's going to be part 3. Part 3. Yes. All right. So, guys, thanks again.
Thanks, Bankie. But Bankie, remember to promote the Healing of the Nation show, Healing the Nation show in April 19, When you do your thing, even if you have to send in a sponsorship, we're defending it,
Yes, I am.
Definitely. What event that we're coming up in the 19th of April in Deep Bay, artists again. A lot of artists, and it's a different type of artists. So just come to and check it out,
Yeah,
and
man,
we celebrate the visit to the Caribbean. That's it. Visit to the Caribbean.
Yeah, man, bless up. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Ira, enough respect. Guidance and action, everybody.
I was called our next covenant. That's the man, 65 years old. My Jama was hold from after 11 from Newcastle police station, hold thrown in a dark cell with mosquito. Left there, was just given 2 dry bread and 2 local drink, and then moved from there to the police station over in Cotton Ground. When I first met him there, when he first met me there, I didn't know that's when Mr. Jama just come there, not knowing. And then we move from there and go to the police station in town. 3 different police stations for Jama, 2 for me. Charged there. And when we realized when we've been charged, me tell Jama, you anybody to bail you? I saw none of them ask Jama a phone call. I said, if I tell the police, Shane, Jama no call nobody yet, because nobody no Jama lock up all the hours there. You understand? Nobody know the man lock up. So me had to make sure Jama also daily come. Jama make a phone call the data and daily come. The Jama data call daily and daily come and also the bail Jama. Also Jama could get out. When we reached back, the Jama went to go play guilty. Because they lock up the Rasta man in the 90s and charge him $4,000 for a spliff. So now the Rasta man done break. They went to play guilty. Luckily I was there to rescue the man, to put him on my team. This fight is about Jama. Man abuse Jama and still abuse my arrest. Because I get a phone call, more than half hour drink within the 9 hours me inside there. And it's more than 9 hours because I say after 12. After 1, I not fetching after 12. After 11 minutes to 12, the man comes out of my farm. I not take the time. So it's over 10 hours. I lock up the same way.
They approved it. They promoted it. They took the money. Now it's illegal? Imagine this for a second. What if the government started charging people to go to church, promoting it nationwide, then the next day arresting pastors and worshippers? You would call that oppression. You would call that tyranny. The courts already made it clear. Rastafari is a protected religion. Cannabis is part of that religion. And laws that criminalize it can violate constitutional rights. So what is this really? A government that profits from cannabis but punishes the people. A system that smiles in public and strikes in private. This is how rights start to disappear. Not all at once, but selectively. One group today, another tomorrow. Look at countries where rights are abused. It always starts the same way. Selective enforcement, unfair targeting, silencing the people while the powerful do as they please. If they can do this to Bankie, they can do it to anyone. This is bigger than Bankie. This is about justice versus control. Stand up. Speak out. Share this. March 18th, 2026. The Director of Agriculture in Nevis, Mr. Randy Elliott, has now told Bankie that he is still allowed to have a display, but is no longer allowed to have his plants. So let's ask the obvious question. What sense does that make? An agriculture expo where patrons can only see pictures and books instead of real plants? This is not just inconsistent, it's unjust. They approved this before. They spoke about it publicly. They promoted it on Real Entertainment Network. There was even talk of future editions.
There's actually a booth again where we have some display of medical cannabis also that will be on display at the event.
Only now it's suddenly wrong? So what changed? If Bankie is now being treated as if he has done something illegal, then what about those who endorsed, approved, and encouraged his participation? Are they not equally responsible? Because you cannot invite a man to the table and then punish him for showing up. If Bankie must face legal consequences, then accountability should not stop with him. It must extend to every official, every authority, and every institution that supported and enabled this. That includes government officials. That includes the Cannabis Authority. That includes leadership tied to law enforcement. Justice cannot be selective. It cannot shift depending on convenience. The people are watching and the people are asking, is this justice?
or is this hypocrisy?
The federal government allowing the Cannabis Authority to have a cannabis competition leading up to the 19th of June, which is around the music festival, which in the last year they approved it to have 5 spliff and this and that and that and something and stuff like that, okay? Entering this competition is 3 categories: sun-grown, indoor, and local genetics and foreign genetics, whatever, and greenhouse. $100 to enter each competition, mind you. So if you entered both 3, it's $300. In the 2 or 1, it's either way, it's $100 to enter that competition. The federal government, mind you, and the board of the Cannabis Authority, there's assistant commissioner of police, you know. So the whole board of the Cannabis Authority approved this cannabis competition, including the Attorney General, Kahi, and the Prime Minister and the whole cabinet. All of them agreed with this thing, and the Ministry of Tourism, all of them approved it. Okay? I mean, I hear Navy said about this cannabis competition there, so let's say try Navy's too. Alright? Good. So much money charge mine, application fees. So who gonna grow the weed? All those people gonna go the weed, the Attorney General gonna go the weed? Can he approve it? So should all those people be charged for that? No. Should he be charged for that? He sanctioned it, you know. But Carla, I wait for me. Apple. So I hold on.
Yeah.
So let me continue the Yahsonn, say about that. Then you have the Department of Navy's Agriculture having the 30th Expo, alright, of agriculture event, fair, stuff like that. Having a cannabis display, over 200 trees have been at the back for the federal government. 2 days back to back, Sankofa, you know, going on, you was there, sat on the podium top, taking me all to Southern University as the consultant. I mean, I sending a bill yet, you know. So Dr. Joe, I ought to send a bill in it. Attorney General, I ought to send a bill. I expect my bill to be paid when they receive the bill. I expect to be paid in 7 days. Okay, all right. I decided, well, make it excited and to give people a chance. Some people never see a tree yet. Some people never drink herb tea yet. Some people at the activity had headache, had pressure gone up. They come get something, pressure gone down, headache solved. These are testimonies throughout the whole activities, you know. Well, everybody head over heels became a raffle. 1 tree. Every Attorney General write letter, send them to me. I get call from time. 1 cannabis tree, me a raffle for $10, you know. All right, $10, 10 easy too, you know. Good. The Premier, Prime Minister, everybody supporting this Destiny project in a sense like that. $100 now. Destiny giving $100 for each also to Sankofa. How much you live in your house? So 10. Buy and get $1,000 to buy. Where you gonna do? You gonna pressure the Prime Minister? If I look sharp sign this thing to make it, but what? Nobody getting the money until that the sign. But that's like a bribe to me. But the Attorney General has no bribe. The Premier said has a bribe. But everybody see Bankie $10 raffle, not as a gift, but intent. Intent. They must say in the future. The time not come yet, but intent. Well, me and me one time, so it's all right. So I see what this is going on to. Attorney General not gonna work it do. The inspector in Navy's not gonna work it do. Just as the consultant for the Cannabis Authority, Dr. Emmanuel said, the Commissioner of Police said, the police in Navy's not gonna work it do. So you don't know, harass one of the biggest farmers in Navy's, me, Elder Man Jama, 65, hold him from 11 o'clock, because when they pass which part my farm is, I say, wait, when we do that, the man still pick up the 100 tree? That was after 11. That's the same time they just lock up Jama over a castle and got Jama. And when they bring Jama after 5, where they have me in your police station, lock up Jama in a dark cell. 65 years old, they give him nothing to eat. Dry bread. Dry bread. You understand? And a local drink, and the man not care. Not even a phone call. Not even me get a phone call. Not even me was asking by last man you have something to drink. They not care. Abuse of the citizens. Attorney General not care about them things there. But everybody, Minister of Agriculture, everybody care about me raffling one raffle ticket for $10. And nobody's nothing wrong with $100 to enter a cannabis cup, which go up to 3, and $100 been offered to each family member, citizens. If they sign the agreement, if. So where is the crime being committed? Brethren, the whole system will commit a crime. And the Attorney General and the whole cabinet, they made locking up because them approving the cannabis cup and them can't go no weed. And me have to go the weed. And me have to enter the competition. So who encouraged me to go weed? Not the system? So what Attorney General must say? What Mr. God Wilkin and the whole cabinet is me have them over by the cannabis, by the Marriott, smelling the same weed. The Prime Minister Samuel never smell the weed. You see it in front of them, Samuel, Sankofa. So how do they lock me up? And me advise them. All right, well, we so bad ago. I wish them all the best with that. So this year make no sense. So what me try to say, nobody need to enter the cannabis cup. Let the Attorney General and the executive, Dr. Joe, them in Navies, let them go the weed and let us see the cannabis cup come. Let us see how we come. We can my way forward is, is no vote, no ganja, no vote. That is the way forward for me. No ganja, no vote. All right? And that's all my guys say about that.
They approved it. They promoted it. They took the money. Now it's illegal? Imagine this for a second. What if the government started charging people to go to church, promoting it nationwide, then the next day arresting pastors and worshippers? You would call that oppression. You would call that tyranny. The courts already made it clear. Rastafari is a protected religion. Cannabis is part of that religion. And laws that criminalize it can violate constitutional rights. So what is this really? A government that profits from cannabis but punishes the people. A system that smiles in public and strikes in private. This is how rights start to disappear. Not all at once, but selectively. One group today, another tomorrow. Look at countries where rights are abused. It always starts the same way. Selective enforcement, unfair targeting, silencing the people while the powerful do as they please. If they can do this to Bankie, they can do it to anyone. This is bigger than Bankie. This is about justice versus control. Stand up, speak out, share this.
Them no want you reach nowhere. So you have to find a way. Them no want to see you fly. Them no want to see you touch down. Them no want to see you fly. Hey. Bling bling, now me call it King Kong. Every song I write, it's song. Every song I write, it's song. Tell me something, am I wrong? To believe in myself. nobody above myself. Energy, energy, build your energy. Love, charity, what a sight to see, what a sight to see. What a colossal, working and working to prosper. What you gonna stop for? Keep on, it's right on the corner. Hey, make way when I'm weird there. Hey, tell it you to them stay there. Hey, that is your destiny. To be what you ought to be. Even if no one you reach nowhere. So you have to find that way. Them no one you reach nowhere. So you have to find that way. Them no one can see you fly.